Seven colors in your hair, get your boots on gear, cause we're going out there. Don't care about the dress code, put it on, let's go. Girls go wild, cause we're going out fresco. Ha, no need to perform. Hands on our bodies, gonna keep us feels warm. We need social reform, cause we're just so criminal. Linguist subliminal, damage is minimal. Top percent, our largest fraction. Massive attraction, girl action. Stop that, I'm gonna need a reaction. Drop that, you already got your reaction. Me, I'm gonna keep on smiling. You're gonna need restyling. I got a quote back from the jeweler. You're getting 20% cooler. Yeah, own this beat. You can call me a king or a ruler. Filling on bass, get horse in the mic. We're getting 20% cooler. We had a great day out, calling my name like Ferris Bueller. It's time to wrap this up. We're getting 20% cooler. 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 Reduce that triple designator right now to think they're on my level like a rebel in a bunker getting shot with a mortar. Bump up and down cause I think you're order. Place your hand on my thigh, don't be coy, I can hear you sigh. Grinding your hips, I'll be flashing my pink, and in 10 seconds flat, you'll be back with a drink. Whoa! Bring out the Bacardi! Swing that sparkle up in the body, tap that like a phone in a Cold War room on the third floor, knocking on my front door. Me, I'm kind of a rarity. You, work that dexterity. Lean back now, here's what I meant. Getting caught up like 20%. Yeah, own this beat. You can call me the king or the ruler. Filling on bass, getting horse in the mic. We're getting 20% cooler. We had a great day out, calling my name like Ferris Bueller. It's time to wrap this up. We're getting 20% cooler. 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 Yeah, own this beat. You can call me a king or a ruler. Filling on bass, get horse in the mic. We're getting 20% cooler. We had a great day out, calling my name like Ferris Bueller. It's time to wrap this up. We're getting 20% cooler.
Good evening. Good evening. How are we doing? How is everybody? Kristen Ark. I know you think everything is gay, bro, and that's fine because you got to shoot Keemstar in the shin. Hey guys. Thuman, how you doing? I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you made it. Now listen, okay. I haven't dipped my toe in a little while. It's been oh god, it feels like for fucking ever. So I reached out to my very good friend of the channel, friend of myself, Akumu, and was like, "Hey, do you want to chat?" Because a lot has actually transpired since we stopped kind of looking at the FCK itself and sort of went on our little side quests. You know, Crystal, Hidden, all those. And I figured it'd be good to give you all a catch up. I know that we're kind of hitting the point now where kind of more detailed stuff is going to come out. Thuman's got a video in the works. Kumu has a video in the works. I believe Kumo actually also has a video of some kind in the works for some other stuff. So I think this is a good refresher point. Allow Cope and Seethe to bring you some retrospectives. Now I'm like I also want to say, having looked at kind of like the little bits and pieces that have kind of come to me through Akumu's kind of TR series, I think I'm mostly caught up, but there's definitely bits that I'm missing. And I know that people have like talked to Doodle Tones. I know that like Nezzy has had her whole thing. And I know that Fuchsia has had her whole thing. So I think there's also stuff missing, and I'm going to have forgotten who some of these fucking people are. So that said, let's see if he actually answers me. Which is always the first fucking challenge. Good evening, Sony. Good evening, Akumu. How you doing, bro?
Hello.
How you doing? Yeah.
I mean, I've been editing and then throwing everything into a Google Drive, which I'm used to using, but I'm not used to, handing it out so everyone else can get their fingers all over it. Okay, I don't share my stuff, but I'm trying to see.
Yeah, no, it's all the little things that we're having to get ready. Give me 2 seconds. Let me try and get you. Let me try and get this on screen. See if I can do this without fucking everything up. Okay. I think so. I don't think so. I think that works. I just make you bigger. There we go.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the video, Thuman.
Yeah,
I'm wondering.
I spoke to Thuman today. I'm also looking forward to the video. I got little spoilers. Little spoilers.
Yeah, hi Thuman.
I hear you make an appearance in the video potentially. Is that true?
I won't confirm or deny.
Okay, so it's been ages, bro. It's been fucking ages.
Yeah.
You've been busy. I'm not sure where you want to start because when we last left off, we'd sort of just gone through the whole arc of the Lio debates, right?
Yeah.
And then you went into your sort of your more detailed work with the FCK. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. That's a fair.
So give us your opinion. How's that gone? How are you feeling?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm 2 hours into it, and I worry that at first I thought it was going to be the length of a Lord of the Rings movie. I worry it's going to be longer now because I'm 2 hours in, but it's still in 2020, so I'm gonna have to either cut some things down or make it pieces, which I Gilded, he suggests that I don't make it pieces. Um, but and also I've learned some new things. Like originally, I claimed during the Toby stuff of 2020 that it was Toby that first did the whole stuff against Beneloni. It wasn't. It was Slimmers. So I've recovered a lot of stuff thanks to the Wayback Machine and whoever um, archived it. Thank you for that. And then I got screenshots, even further proof that D'Angelo Wallace made the doxing accusation first, all kinds of stuff. It's just a mess trying to one keep it all organized so I can throw it up on the Google Drive, and then also a headache because it's an entire timeline of nearly 4 or 5 years of events. It's a lot of shit.
So, okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about the events in the latter half. But first I want to focus on the initial fallout. So after this all sort of happened, I saw that kind of you did pieces on Doodle Tones, Future Butters, and Nezzy, and mixed in.
Yeah.
So they didn't seem to take any of this particularly well.
No, not really. No. You talking about the Senate or in general?
I think, well, I mean, the Senate certainly hasn't taken it well, but also, I mean, in general, where would you like to start? What's been your favorite response, do you think?
Favorite response. I think my favorite response was initially with the FCK thing, right? You had Lyle rush out his conundrum video this year.
Yeah.
To get ahead of my FCK stuff, and they're like, "Oh my God, he's going to misrepresent the logs." Then I drop it all, and it's like, "Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no." And so then it was I'm bad faith, and I was like, "Well,
yeah, I remember.
What about this specifically is bad faith about this?" And then it's like, my favorite part was when Doodles dropped their video and was like, he's bad faith because he corrects his own misinformation. That's one of the
Just very quickly because apparently actually our Stream Elements does work. We've had so much trouble with that since, bro. But yes, Car, thank you for the 5. Just a reminder, all this happened because Madame tried to sue Onision. Wait, is that true?
Yeah, so that's literally what initially that's the starting thing that happened with Madame, while simultaneously the Slimer stuff was happening. And
wait, why did she try and sue Onision? I mean, who doesn't? But
well, she didn't actually. She used the money for supposedly a purse and a bunch of other stuff, and then ran off somewhere. That's at least from what I've heard, but I could be wrong. There's videos talking about her whole "I'm gonna sue Onision for abusing the system." Doesn't use any of the money for it.
Fantastic. Um, so yes, like, Lio brought out his video, Doodle brought out hers. My favorites is still Zach. I love Zach's video. I love Zach's response to the video. It's been great. Doodles has been an interesting one. Now, you along with the victims of the FCK pretty much kill shotted Doodles, right?
I mean, that's a way of putting it. So when I was asked, when I was they put the blame on me and sent it. They say, that I'm like manipulating the behind the scenes to get rid of all these people.
Mm.
But when I was asked if I wanted Doodle Tones to leave or not, my answer was no. So you can't pin the blame on me. I said no. But they will regardless. Uh, and the others, I had no influence on their choices. I didn't even have a conversation. Like I didn't even talk to Slimmers about Slimmers's take on whether anyone should leave or not, um, or anything like that. But I'm still blamed. My favorite of the Senate people, Soda. Going on this whole idea that I've like manipulated Slimmers into like, allowing me for my revenge or some shit. But um, I suppose that's a way of putting it, but I think the more damning thing was the thing that I found. I want to say recently, but it was only like maybe a month ago. Was Doodles did all of that denial, right? Of I had no idea about Slimmers and the FCK, and then turns out, well, we get access to the chat, the Slimmers porn chat, and Doodles is right up in there,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
casually.
Yeah, they all fucking are. From I didn't know anything about this. Had no fucking idea. It's completely wild. To yeah, we were there. We investigated. We did a full internal inquiry. We investigated ourselves, and we found no wrongdoing.
Yeah, it was like I- and I was genuinely irritated when I was scrolling through because I was just working on my big video, and then I'm scrolling through and I stumble. What are you doing in this chat? You said you had no idea about this, that you don't recall any of this, that you would have, and all this denial saying that the nuance matters of whether or not you knew Doodles was in there at that point, and then constantly changing all of that, and then turns out, well, you were in the chat. Well, Slimmers is in the chat. In the fucking chat dedicated to Slimmers. Um, and I've actually, even though I thought it was going to be like a bigger thing, I haven't seen much reactions. The SCC like to keep their reactions mostly private unless they're subtweeting, and I don't
So
really
much
care to
subtweeting.
keep.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
speaking of that, the first person who seemed to actually go down was Fuchsia Butters, right? From what I can see.
Yeah, so it was technically Fuchsia was the first to go. And to explain that, the so I joined the FCK server 2023, right?
Mhm.
First thing I did was just archive the thing. That was my because I was like, holy shit, because me and Slimmers were like just literally talking about like Transformers and other shit in a VC, and then she signed in on her old account. And was like, I'm still on the server, and I was like, no fucking way, no, no fucking way. And she's like, Do you want an invite?" And I was like, I was taken aback by it, but I was like, all right, let me get an alt account and I'll get up in there. And I did. And, I knew it was going to be bad because of some things that I'll explain in the FCK Maxim. I had some knowledge. I just didn't think it was going to be that bad, like the Nazi stuff and the Miku and the Sandy the squirrel. I had no idea. Um, so the first thing I did as I'm scrolling through is I'm archiving. Like I got out my exporter, my token, I exported the thing, and then I just started gathering screenshots. And then I spoke with Fuchsia a few months later, right? I actually tagged Fuchsia. I responded in a reply to Fuchsia Butter, and I said, "You actually, I can read to you what I said. Hold on, because I got the stuff pulled up right now. Da, da, da. Okay. Okay, so For some reason, it's not appearing. But I replied to Fuchsia Butter, and then I added Fuchsia, and I said, I thought you didn't know my age. You told everyone in your public, tweet on June 9th of 2020 that you had no idea I was a minor. Um, yet here you are the day you uploaded the video, just shrugging your shoulders with a little emoji, uh, of acknowledging that I was 16, that I was a kid, and then immediately
Oof.
left the server. So yeah, that's the thing. Fuchsia was still in the server, and then immediately leaves the server.
Right.
And then I
Okay.
messaged, and Fuchsia's whole thing was, if I can find it, because it's now, I mean, that account has been obliterated. Because you're right, Fuchsia was the first to go. Dropped that thread.
Yeah.
Here it is, right here. Um, so I said, I messaged and I said, "Why did you?" Yeah, I said, "Why did you leave?" I asked a simple question, and I showed. I sent an A Train meme from the boys. Then I said, surely the accountability crew aren't lacking in that. Would be such a preposterous thing, you know. Come on, I just want to talk about why it doesn't make sense. I sent an eye emoji. I'm just being my normal annoying self. Um, and then
Just asking
I said,
questions, you know.
yeah, I said all I want is honesty, and yes, you did apologize to me before, but the problem is you lied to both your audience and to me, and left the server when I pointed it out. You claimed you didn't know my age at the time, but you very much did. That, and right after our back and forth, I went on and on about like the FCK stuff, and then this is Fuchsia's reply. This was July 31st of 2023, so this is before Fuchsia even left. This is the last time I will comment on this because I'm sick and tired of it coming back and back and back. And that's another thing that I'm going to state with the FCK. They constantly complain about hearing about this, especially Nezzy, right? But
Yeah.
it's like
Oh
I
my god, it's
constantly hear about the
fucking
shit you all
endless.
falsely accused. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you dare bring up this, but it's like I'm one person bringing it up, and then you're lying to your audience about it every time I bring it up.
Yeah, I think this
Versus I
is
have thousands accusing me of doxing, throughout the years. If this year I've been accused of it 7 different times.
well, yeah, this is kind of where my sympathy, like, because I'm very much like, listen, if a drama has been dealt with and talked about, and people have kind of like had things settled, um, I'm very much kind of like, I don't really want to drag this up unless it's relevant. It's shitty, especially when it's years and years and years ago. Like I had this the other day where I was like, somebody dragged up something from 10 years ago, and I was like, fucking what? Why? But this, you have been so demonized over this, just asking questions when you turned out to be right. I don't know if they can flip it and go, oh well, actually it was years ago. I don't know why you're talking about it. And at the same time, also, that never seemed to stop any of them when they went after people. They'd bring up stuff from happily from 5 years ago,
Oh,
like
absolutely. Yeah.
if they could use it against somebody. People will throw things at you. I mean, it's interesting actually. We'll probably talk a little bit about Ponder, but I think that's been an interesting bit of a validation of your position, but it has been handled in the most bitch-made way possible. I think a lot of people could have benefited from just, going, yeah, we were dicks, we didn't want to talk about it, we hated Akumu, so fuck
Yeah.
him, but yeah, we probably needed to be held accountable at some point. Um, and I'm getting really sick of hearing the phrase, but my mental health is bad. But I think Nezzy does this with, like, there's one conversation, I think it's on Doodle's channel, where she's like, well, my memory's bad. That's not an excuse, it's an explanation. I'm like, it's kind of an excuse, though, isn't it? you know?
It's yeah, and that's the thing with all my memory's bad stuff. It's like, okay, so let's go with that for a second. Let's say the memory's bad. Was it You're telling me like a year after this happened? It just flopped right out of your brain. You just lost it, and that's the thing too. You're gonna see in the FCK Maxim. I literally, I very pretentious of me, but I started vaguely hinting to what was going on in the FCK server, talking about they were like the gross things that they were doing behind the scenes privately, in their little Hugbox server. I mentioned it in the DMs with Xena. I posted some of those in 2020. I brought it up with Fuchsia Butter. I brought it up with I think Mad Libs, and I know for a fact I brought it up in the DMs with Nezzy Monster. All in 2020, and they all denied it, especially ZZ. Well, so this is while it was taking place, and I think they just wanted it to be like a secret between all of them
Well, I
because
mean, that would have
Nezzy's
been
initial
convenient.
reaction was, yeah,
Well, I
because
mean,
Nezzy's initial reaction was, "This is a hornet's nest. Can we stop kicking this, guys?"
I mean, the easiest thing to do would have been to not attack the person who was looking into it and demonize them. I also found it funny recently. I think you posted something with Ponder talking about farming you for content.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I was scrolling through Ponder's comments because I wanted to gather some examples of the whole you haven't he has, Kumu hasn't matured, grown, or changed or learned. That's it got a whole rampant playlist of that. But I was going through that and then I found two comments from Ponder. And one of them really caught my eye, but both of them basically refer to her explanation. It's essentially her justifying the two videos on me, which was, content is content. If he wants to pretend to be stupid or be stupid for content, content's content. And I thought that was interesting because, Lio and all the other ones, Mr. Enter, they want to say that I'm doing this to content farm. But, when Fuchsia admitted to using me for views in front of everybody, and Ponder actually commented on one of the videos that no one said that was cloud chasing. No one said that it was content farming. No one said it was when Ponder and Nezzy did their collab. But if I talk about the FCK stuff, I have that's what I'm doing. It's just some bullshit to like dismiss the video.
I mean, it must. I'll be honest. I like the odd scalp, and while I agree with you, it's bad content to drive off people like Doodle Tones. I think I said this to somebody earlier. Doodle Tones was done the minute commentary got involved. Well, the thing that made her leave was the victims and yourself and the coverage. The minute general commentary got involved, it was always going to end this way because Doodles is terrified of a repeat of the Metica stuff and always has been.
Yeah,
And I know
yeah.
that from the behind the scenes. So this was always going to happen. Because if she hadn't left, we wouldn't have stopped. I would be a-logging every single video she brings out and any piece of content like endlessly because it's Doodle Tones. Um, but like the stuff you've done for despite the fact that you're getting pushback and like their audience is very ingrained, it must be an interesting feeling to watch kind of the last year's work essentially cripple the reputations of many of the most sort of like the largest or like the most untouchable people in the ACC and SCC.
I think how do I put this? In a way, yeah, probably. My focus has always been, I just wanted to get people to question things and what happened. And also to show that like these people aren't nearly as perfect as they present themselves or as pristine and crystal clear as they present. And yeah, I guess it did go for the reputations. um but like reputations in this community have always been inconsistent,
Sure.
always. That's because like they the rules are unfair. But yeah, it would be it'd be how do I put this? It would be too, I guess, humble to say that it didn't affect the reputations because yet now people are talking about it. I just recently I looked at the wikis and it's now being added to certain little wikis that they have. So I guess yeah, it did. Um, but if I take any enjoyment whatsoever out of this, I'm a psychopath. I'm sadistic. What was it that the Senate were debating whether I was a sociopath or a psychopath? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those where I've always found it very inconsistent with people's motivations for things. Because I mean I'm very upfront. I mean I'm here to laugh at things. I love a good meltdown. I love a good takedown piece. I think those things are hilarious. Um, but I think from their perspective, there's this whole moral grounding to a lot of things, and it's the truth is that oh god, I saw Chud Logic watching like a returned commentator who's like a British bloke, and I've completely forgotten his name at the moment. But he's like talking about women watching the I Am Alex drama, and he's like, you all sit there and say, "Well, we're here for the victims," and he's like, "But really, you're here because you love it." All the audience is like, "Oh yeah, no, I could fucking like look at this bit. This guy's a fucking scum." It's that kind of thing, like pretending that we don't gain entertainment from this or we're not enjoying it to an extent is I don't know. I think pretty dishonest.
Well, that's the thing too. It's selective. Like as everything is with these people, it's always selective because they were gleefully enjoying when they were going at me. I had their comment sections recorded, even from the videos that they took down. The shit they were saying behind the scenes. Actually, a perfect example of this is from the events of 2020. So Fuchsia going at me, having a fun time, talks about having a fun time. It was such a, what was it the Fuchsia said, that it was really good to scorch this pussy, referring to me when dropping the video on me. But when Fuchsia then says, "Oh, well, he's just doing this for fun," suddenly, I have bad intentions. So they can have fun going after whoever they'd like to, and it's okay because it's holding them accountable. But if a person they don't like is having fun during it, they have to be sadistic, they have to be a piece of shit, they have to be in it for the wrong reasons. When Chuli was talking about Feghost, and they said that Chuli was running a victory lap, how dare Chuli do that? Um, so they can enjoy it as much as they want to. Heaton can enjoy it with all that stuff. But when it's the people they don't like, you will be demonized for enjoying it
I
and doing it for entertainment and whatnot.
I know almost nothing about Heaton. I have not run across them in this entire drama. The last I heard was that they quit. Is that true?
Yeah, Heaton quit. Yeah.
Is that for any particular reason, or just like they were like, "I'm done," or were they about to get caught, or was can you shed any
So
light?
uh, at the beginning of the video, Heaton states the reason for quitting. There's multiple reasons listed throughout the video, but the beginning ones are that they've seen their friends, that the SCC, who claims to stick together, have been watching as their friends have been lied about, and they've done nothing. And Heaton was like, I'll get involved, but then those friends said not to. That it would just make matters worse. Um, and so I can't 100% confirm, but I have been told that that's referring to me, Nezzy Monster, Doodles, and so on. So I trust the source, but I can't say it's 100%.
Sure, it's word of mouth. I get you.
Yeah.
I get you. So then let's focus in a bit on Nezzy, because Nezzy is somebody who, at the start of this, going way back when we first met, I remember you mentioning Nezzy to me fairly early. And Nezzy was very, very confident about this FCK stuff, and I don't know. Give me a refresher. What was Nezzy's initial reaction a few months ago to this being brought up again?
Okay. So so Nezzy's whole thing was, well, uh, can we not? This is a hornet's nest, guys. This is a hornet's nest. Let's not touch this, because no one wins in this situation. I'm paraphrasing. That's almost said word for word in the original thread that was released in February of this year. The FCK is a hornet's nest, and there's no winning in that situation. And then that was, I think, February 27th. And fast forward just a little bit as we're going through this whole thing. Nezzy's putting out a new thread, a new tweet stating, there's stuff behind the scenes that happened that's going to be revealed, sort of edging the audience but not giving any specifics. And then we finally get what Nezzy was referring to with, well, there's stuff behind the scenes and DMs and stuff, because I did get onto Toasty, guys. And then we get those screenshots that were put out. Some of them were put in Lyle's video. Some of them were put in Doodle's video. Actually, Doodles, I think, put pretty much all of them, essentially, all the instances that Nezzy got onto Toasty. And all it did was make matters worse, exactly as I predicted, because my whole thing that they all said that I was dishonestly assuming was that Nezzy knew more, and that was my assumption. It was like these DMs are just going to show that Nezzy knew more and still said nothing.
Yeah.
Well, turns out the DM showed that Nezzy knew a lot more.
Yeah,
a lot more than
way more.
I thought.
Nezzy was somewhat in the trenches.
And the crazy part is too, I mentioned this to an SEC member the other day as I was messaging Mr. A, and I was like, it's always this thing where, um, you know, a few days after those DMs with Toasty, right, where you accuse Toasty of being a sexual harasser, of a sexual harassment, comparing him to V Omega, particularly mentioning the porn spam and showing minors pornography in August. A few days later, then publicly accused a friend of mine at the time of sexual harassment. So Toasty was accused privately, and it remained private. And then a friend of mine was falsely accused of it just a few days later. And then in October that same year, you have the screenshots which are allegedly from Ponder's Discord server, where which came out, I think from one of Ponder's friends actually. I could be wrong on this, but someone gave me that. I can't remember the specifics. My if my brain's a little like fuzzy on where it came from, but someone gave me the recording, then I put it out there. I don't know, maybe you remember it, of Nezzy saying that there were no minors in the FCK, that they were all adults.
Interesting. I don't think I caught that. That's that's a bold take. I mean, it seems to me that Nezzy just lied through her teeth for years, and sort of trusted that her friends would protect her.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I absolutely like. There's no way. There's no deceit involved. Like, these people want to push the idea that it's simply just a memory thing, but like, you're telling me in a matter of 2 months, the conversation you had confronting Toasty slipped your mind, the whole thing, and you just forgot that all the people you were hanging out with for days and days and days on end that you knew were 15, 16, all right, that just all slipped your mind 2 months of being not in the server?
Well, I mean, they
No.
investigated it as well. The Toby drama itself. Now, I'm not familiar with the Toby drama in detail, but the Toby drama was internally investigated, included like elements to do with the FCK, and people were like hung over that. So they must have like known that this was also going on at the same time. Well, they did because they were involved. People made content around it. Doodles was deeply ingrained in these communities. Fucking shocker. and and I mean, when I look back at it, they sort of just closed ranks and went, "We'll be fine." This is a little bit, a little bit inconvenient to talk about. Now, one thing I saw recently was to do with Teddy. Now, Teddy was one of the victims in the FCK. Like they were the minor, right?
Yeah, they were 15, 16, I think, their time in the FCK. Yeah,
So
it was Teddy Slimmers, Jamesy, and there was a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old also in there. So yeah, there's quite a few.
what's been the general reaction to Nezzy claiming that Teddy is a liar?
Hello?
Oh, hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, what's the general reaction to Nezzy claiming that Teddy is a liar?
Well, I'd say the general reaction is, especially when I pointed out, the whole, well, first you were trying to get Teddy on your side and use Teddy's word, and in fact that was, Laka has verified that call exists, where, so what happened was they try and get Teddy to publicly agree with them, and their retelling of the events and whatnot. And they did that twice. They did that in 2023 when I was starting to get into the topic of the Senate call that I had with Nezzy, and then they did it this year at the beginning of this year. They tried to get Teddy to side with them publicly so they could wave around, look, we've got this minor, that was a minor, this victim that agrees with us and said, thinks that we're not that big of a problem. That was the whole point. But because Teddy didn't do that, well, then it was resorted to, well, Teddy's a liar. And so a lot of people said it was victim blaming, or it was just very disingenuous of Nezzy, because Nezzy's whole thing is, well, I called Teddy a liar because there's been some inconsistencies that I and others have experienced. Okay, so if you think Teddy's a liar, why have you tried to use Teddy's word multiple times to side with you publicly? And this isn't the only time either, because in 2023, they Doodles and Nezzy literally reached out to Teddy to do this little apology, and then conveniently tried to get Teddy to show up to the Senate call to agree with their retelling of the events so that I would look like a liar.
Fantastic. What a
Yeah.
I don't understand how anybody can sit there and say there have been inconsistencies while they have also said, "No, I just didn't remember. I just slipped my mind." I'm like, I don't it's a bit good, interesting tactic. Let's see how it plays out for you. So so the victims basically got sick of this shit a few months ago. And there was the call that was released with Doodle Tones. Doodle Tones are self-released, where they basically told Doodle Tones to fuck off. Can you
Yeah,
shed
yeah.
any light on how that actually occurred? Because my impression is this. My impression is that Doodles was using the victims, well, or attempting to use the victims as a shield against you and other people like Kumo, like myself, like whoever.
Yeah.
And then the victims basically said, well, actually the one who's fucking this up and has been consistently is you. Now I have two core questions. Did the victims actually know that Doodles knew as much as she did? And two, how did that call actually occur? Like what was the sort of deciding factor, if you know?
The call that, made Doodles leave?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a little intricate. So the whole thing with the victims and Lio and them working on their stuff with the FCK with Doodles, basically they had, from what I've been told, and actually shown, uh, not much, not all of, but much of, was that they would have different group chats for different people. And so some group chats would have the same people, and some group chats would be slightly different, where they would have this individual but not that individual. And these people would then be told information, but certain pieces of that information would be different. And so that's how I knew early on, okay, so they're trying to just tell people whatever they can to get them to side with them and to view me as negatively as possible. Because I think I've spoken with this with Laka, perhaps. We afterwards looked back at it and noticed those inconsistencies in what information was being communicated. But there was different group chats that had different, people in it. Some were similar, some and whatnot, and different things were being told. And some of these group chats had the victims in there. And from what I've been told, is the victims were already weren't very trusting because of my not FCK, my big Lio video
Mm-hmm.
that I covered, where I showed like the call between me and Lio and his inconsistency when it came to fuchsia butter and trying to claim, well, why didn't Akumu talk about fuchsia butter? As if I didn't make 3 or 4 fucking videos in 2020, but whatever. Um, and then what led up to the call with Doodle Tones was, I think it was Laka. I'm pretty certain it was Laka that was, yeah, yeah. Went around asking the people that essentially the victims and whatnot, and me even, um, of, what do you think should happen with the FCK? Do you think any of these people, like, should Doodles or any of them leave? And my answer was no. I don't know the answers of the other ones. I just know that some said no, some said yes. Laka knows the specifics. My answer was no. And then Locke went, had that call, and then it was announced, Doodles is leaving, video drops, and I get the blame for it. So it is what it is. But that's how that all went down.
That makes sense. Um, with them using, with her using them as a shield, how
Yeah.
do you I mean that seems pretty normal. I'll be honest, this has been one of my frustrations dealing with not just this but like anything. This was my frustration with Crystal. It's like people go, "Hey, these are victims. I voice a victim. You listen to me. I get platform." Um and that kind of weaponization seems normal. Do you think that this is going to create any lasting change to stop shit like this, or do you think that this
I
is
would
just
hope so, because and they were already early on trying to use the victims without actually being able to get their like grubby hands on them. For example, they did this with Ren. If you've seen the Ren call, I think actually you did a stream on it. Um,
I
I
didn't
think
do a
actually
stream
I
on the ring call itself. I did talk about Ren.
okay. In the Ren call, they whipped out this question of, well, did you speak to the victims beforehand? And I'm it is what it is. Ren said no, and in regards to me, even though I had, and so they were basically trying to set up this sort of moral trap of, well, if you didn't speak to the victims beforehand, why did you take this to the public? Instead of having the conversation about what went on in the FCK and the people that were involved. No, no, no. Let's flip it around and be like, why are you talking about this? Have you spoke to the victims first? And the thing with that is they knew that I had. They knew that I got the FCK server from Slimmers. I had been talking consistently on and off with Jamesy about the FCK since the end of 2020 because I had the possibility up in the air of whether or not I was going to do a retrospective on it. Since 2020, I was thinking about it, and then 2021, 2022, I made that abundantly clear in several tweets and videos. Um, that there may be a retrospective if these people were going to keep pushing claims of shit that I didn't do, right? That was my whole thing was, if you're going to keep throwing things at me that I didn't do to hold me accountable, I'm going to talk about what they did, and then we can have that conversation.
Yeah.
But and it was sort of a consistent thing with that. And then with this situation in 2024, they wanted to especially get Teddy to agree with them and work with them publicly. For actually, I don't know if you remember the February 28th call,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
something was said similar to that by Lio about something like something about the victims and not having spoken to them, and then something was said specifically about Teddy that Doodles made a claim of, um, which was something about not having spoken to them, and that's a complete dishonest claim, because I spoke with Teddy in 2020 about the FCK. I have DMs that I posted on my Twitter. You can go to my media tab and scroll through and find it of me speaking with Teddy, trying to get Teddy to come out about the FCK, and she was giving me bits and pieces of information on the server at that time. This is August of 2020. And she didn't want to. And I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm not going to keep pressuring her to do something she doesn't want to do and she doesn't feel safe to do. So I didn't pester further about it. Um, and I just spoke with Jamesy and Slimmers every so often. The conversation would drift to it, and then, or sometimes I would just ask to get their testimony, because that was the original plan, was to purely use their testimony with the series, and then I got a hold of the server. But I think that their idea was they could take Teddy, and I mean, they were trying to with the other ones, but the other ones just didn't want anything to do with, from what I've been told. But their plan was to basically plaster and wave Teddy around like, oh my God, look at this victim. They think that we're not a problem. In fact, Nezzy Monster did this in the Google document that was released on them, the DMs with the artist that put out their conversation. You can go in there and you'll see that Nezzy says something along the lines of, they don't care that the victims involved don't have a problem with me. That was the thing that Nezzy said in there. And
I
it's
mean, at
like,
that same time, I don't know if the victims had full awareness of how involved Nezzy actually was, or Doodles.
well, Jamesy spoke up about it. Jamesy spoke up about it and was blocked. And then
Interesting.
Nezzy's recovery was Avi blocked everyone.
Right. Okay. Okay, so at the moment my understanding is the current playing field is Eaton's gone for other reasons. Doodletones is gone, and listen, my estimation is Doodles will come back next year. To another community.
I bet it. I'd agree with that.
Yeah. I don't think Doodles is gonna.
Well, they're all running for the hills to the VTubing community, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I mean, good. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wish them luck. I've been looking into the VTubing community. It is a fucking hellscape. I actually, I'm gonna say this. I have never seen a community like the VTubing community. It is uniquely bad because everyone's trying to kill each other, even when they're nice to each other, over nothing, because they're all psychotic. I've got a friend who sort of looks at it a lot more carefully. Chris Speaks, and he said something really fascinating, which was the VTubing community is unique because it's the only community where you can build a profile on something like Twitter, do your first debut with 2,500 people watching you, full of excitement, and then a month and a half, 2 months later, you will have 10 viewers. The community, it makes no sense. There's no content, there's no very little continuity. So yeah, let them go, let them have fun. They'll get eaten alive. It will be fantastic. Because it's funny you say that, because I was going to say, so Nezzy's become a VTuber. She's got her rig set up.
Mm-hmm.
Is Fuchsia Butters gone?
So Fuchsia's still around, just not making videos. Fuchsia put out the a thread. I don't want to say it was March. Actually, give me a second. I can tell you when. Hold on, FCK.
Well, you look.
Okay, so the thread was put out,
well.
March 22nd. So I was wrong. So yeah, Fuchsia put out the March 22nd, 2024 thread, and was announced, I'm leaving, I'm done, and deleted their original Discord account, made a new one, and passed all the perms to that one. And I thought that was a very odd thing to do. You already left the server, why delete the account? But yeah, so Fuchsia's still technically around. In fact, sometimes like they're active in their own server. Um, but nothing's been said. In fact, every mention of me has been wiped from that server after I posted and what like I don't know if you've watched the episode on Fuchsia, but the whole I'm gonna murder him. His blood's gonna stain my fucking hands. I'm gonna put him in his place. All that's gone. It's gone. It's all gone. Um, so
They were so
that's the
brave for a while.
yeah, no, it's fascinating. It's like that was the attitude they had, and then fast forward a few months, I find out about how bad Fuchsia's server is. Let's do a ceasefire. Listen, I know we may not be friends, but let's just talk this out. Let's have a ceasefire. But yeah, so Fuchsia's in the problem that I have. This is why I don't accept Fuchsia's apology. And even then, I was skeptical about it. In 2020 when it was given to me. Then it's constantly trying, like for example, in the Twitter thread, blaming Toasty Vanilla for the video on me. Toasty had nothing to do with that video. You reached out to Nezzy and Madlibs and wanted to know if you should make the video. They egged you on. You all were in your circle jerk, hyping each other up about it. This is gonna put me in my place, teach me a fucking lesson. You make the video. Toasty at this time is like, why are we still talking about Akumu? So I really doubt Toasty had any involvement with the video when his whole stance was, we're constantly talking about him. Can we talk about something else? Like, you're making me defend Toasty fucking Vanilla, and I don't like it. But
Well, so
yeah.
Toasty remained friends with them then?
So they all sort of remained friends. Well, I got some clarification from Madlibs. Madlibs cut him off. I put it in the Maxim video. I don't want to misstate it here, but they sort of remained friends with them, up till like July, because I just found his birthday stream. He had an unlisted birthday stream in July of 2020. They were friends with him then, and then there was the conversation that Nezzy had at the end of August, towards the end. So they were friends with them for a bit, and he sort of remained around. And they all sort of just kind of separately went their own ways towards like August, September. Well, actually, no, not September. August, October-ish. That's when they dispersed. But Fuchsia, I don't know how long Fuchsia remains with Toasty. And now that the account's deleted, we can't get any evidence. And I'm not taking Fuchsia at their word ever. So that's just me personally. So I don't know.
So I can see Miss Zizi in the chat. I completely missed the Miss Zizi drama. What was that?
Which part to Miss Zizi? Are you referring to her spamming my comments with
Just all of it? I completely missed it. I know a few people covered it, but I didn't catch it. I think I had some other shit going on at the
time. So Miss Zizi put out a thread, and in the thread it was like, well, I knew this minor had a crush on me, and nothing was serious, wasn't that bad, but I did speak with him sexually at times.
Right, okay.
and then conveniently the thread left out. This is the part that shocked me. The thread left out the fucking thigh pictures and going around asking for thigh pictures and sending thigh pictures into the FCK server. That was because Slimmers partook in that. A couple of other ones did, and Xena partook in that. So why was that left out of the thread? The most damning thing of
that's interesting. What the fuck? Okay, I completely missed that. What? Nothing weird happened, guys. I just had this conversation with this minor who I knew was minor. It
wasn't that bad. Not that bad. I just happened to have sexual conversations with the person that I knew had a crush on me. But I promise nothing serious happened. I swear it.
Oh my
I have to see the DMs before that. I'd have to see the DMs to judge that. Yeah. We haven't. But yeah, it was an abysmal thread, and it also left out, which this is sort of like a selfish pet peeve, so whatever. I'm glad that it addressed in quotation marks the more damning things, even though it left out the fucking thigh pictures. But the whole thing of spamming my comments with degen shit, the day that Fuchsia uploaded the video, because this is gonna be a somewhat irrelevant tangent. All these people wanted to claim that I harassed them. Okay. All these people wanted to say that I was harassing them, and doing this and this and that. they could come and comment on my shit at any fucking point, and they did. Toasty, Toby, Fuchsia Butter. I got all that, fucking in my archive here. But if I comment on something of theirs, dear God, it's the end of the fucking world. I'm harassing them. And so it's like, especially with Xena, because I don't know if you've seen the clip. I posted it on one of my videos. Xena had a freak out in 2020, literally started crying, rage quit, screamed, and then dropped the stream. And it's I think it's unlisted now, but I have it clipped. And this is after Mad Libs did the big video on me, big hit piece. And I went in Xena's chat, and I was asking her, why were you pretending to be a victim of mine, as if you and your friends weren't egging on this too? This is not a one-sided thing as much as you all want to paint it as. And I'm just asking simple questions as to why she's being dishonest, why she's trying to misrepresent the situation. And she starts throwing a fucking tantrum in the chat, in like losing it, starts yelling and going on about how I won't leave her alone, as if you and your friends hadn't been for months commenting on my shit, making fun of me in videos that had nothing to do with me, dedicating an entire video where you were making fun of me, accusing me of doxing, all kinds of shit, accusing my friends of sexual harassment, all kinds of shit. But if I dare ask, why you were doing these things, why you were, misrepresenting the events, you gotta rage quit your stream and say that I harassed you. And in fact, she popped up. I
I
have
want to
this
see
somewhere
that clip.
saved.
I want to see that clip.
Hold on. Perfect. I got it. Hold on. Right here. I think I have it. Yeah, here it is, right here. I got it. Ms. ZZ Stream Raid. I'll stream it to you, and maybe it'll work over to.
Yeah, it should do. It should come through clear.
Okay. So here it is. I think. Is this it? Yeah. Okay. So I'll stream it to you, and then it's kind of low quality, this version of it, but you'll hear everything. Media player. Okay, you see it?
Yep. Yep.
All right. Let me put this at a decent, audio. Let me tell me if you can hear it. This was the stream rate.
Oh, I can't. Oh yeah, I can hear it. I can hear it.
Okay. Do I need to turn it up?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh my god, if there is, I'm
Okay.
gonna be so upset with myself.
Why is this 16 minutes long? I don't recall
there are some slight
Hold on.
differences between this and the.
Let's find it. Where do I start commenting in the chat? It's going to be hard to figure out where it's
What?
at in this because it goes on and off.
Use the
1 minute
chainsaw
she's
girls above.
acknowledging me, the next
Yeah,
minute she's
I know,
ignoring.
but
Where's it at?
that.
Is this it? Okay, we're just going to see. I'm not going to play the whole 16 minutes and waste everyone's time. I'm just trying to find it. I don't know why I didn't edit this down.
In the new version. Yeah, from what I've read is that there are some
There it is.
slight
There it is.
differences
Okay,
between
it's
this
taking
and
place.
the
I'm just hidden in the
thing.
chat because I'm blocked.
Oh. Got gem. Okay.
Do I need to 2 times it?
Akumu made another account just to spam. Yeah, I swear to God, like, I'm so tired.
Is the meltdown?
He's acting like such a fucking stalker at this point.
Now I have a real-time recording of this that I'll be sharing in the
Charm
Maxim.
Encyclopedia.
I wasn't spamming the chat. I was asking simple questions to do with the Mad Libs video. It wasn't a copy and paste thing.
Aw.
Come on.
It
Where's
isn't
it at?
spam, but we did momentarily, but we'd rather see you admit your lies.
Yeah,
Lying about what, Akumu?
My pretentious ass.
Actually, you know what? Fine, you caught me. On my Twitter once, I said that black licorice isn't that great. You caught me. I actually don't really like black licorice that much.
Did I pause it? No, okay, no, it's still going.
Isn't there a fire extinguisher in the pantry? Is there?
Okay, I might have to tomb times it because I think her freakout's towards the
I
end.
swear to God, if there is, I'm gonna be so upset with myself. Fire extinguisher.
I just like the fact that you're highlighting the chat with who's Akumu.
Fire extinguisher.
No, it automatically does that.
Extinguisher.
'Cause I'm watching it and that's my name, so I'm watching it
How
from my
could
account so
you
it auto does.
see?
Oh yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like the chat's
Why
like,
would
wait,
it
who's
taste
this?
like? I mean, if you know what normal licorice tastes like, it's just basically normal licorice, but just like grosser. Like it has like a stronger flavor, but it's also dull at the same time. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, who the fuck eats it?
Oh, you can hear the nervousness.
Yeah. Well, because this is, for context, this is right after the Mad Libs video, and in the Mad Libs video, she details the harassment and where we've interacted and whatnot. But she conveniently left out the fact that she spammed my comments with shit about boy pussy. So
Fucking what? Why?
yeah, she just left that out. But that's one of the reasons why I popped up on the stream after the video. Yeah, this was what?
Oh no!
It doesn't
What
show the
happened
date.
to
Fuck.
the maid? What the fuck?
This is shortly after it though.
Oh no! Is there something in? Might as well just check all the rooms at this point, because I don't know what to do. I don't know if the fireplace helped the girl who lost her eyes. You lied about me and my friends, and you tried to manipulate the truth and other creators to defend your friend. The list goes on. I'm not getting anybody to defend my friend. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Toby? I'm talking about Toby?
You lied about me and my friends. I'm not lying when I say that you never stop fucking bothering me. That's exactly what you're fucking doing. You try to manipulate the truth. The truth what? The truth that I'm saying about how you're fucking bothering me? You're doing it right the fuck now. Fuck off. Holy shit.
Alright, this is where we're getting to it.
I really fucking love how he does this. Like, oh, you're just lying about me and my friends. I'm not fucking lying when I say that you contact me on multiple fucking accounts. Because that.
You mean the account that you were chill with me talking? That's the thing. Her whole freak out here about the account that she's talking about. She knew it was me. We spoke for on and off consistently, I'd say for a few months. Just casually, because I messaged her and I was like, hey, I'm sorry your account got hacked. I hope you get it back. She replied to me stating, oh, I'm surprised you of all people would, say that. You're not, why aren't, like, because she thought I was going to be happy that she got hacked at one point. And I was like, no, I have no issue with you. I mean, I have like, I said, like, my main issue is with your friends and what they're doing towards me. You, not so much. And, then she got involved with the whole like sexual harassment thing that had happened, and then I asked her about it, and then she says, oh, because he's friends with you. And I was like, but you had no issue with me being in your server for months and messaging you. You had no problem with it. You didn't care. And now all of a sudden it's a problem when we were just casually talking before.
Doing right the fuck now. Shit. I am just trying to find a fucking bucket or something to carry water in. I don't need you bothering me right now. Holy shit. Is there a way to ban people on YouTube? Trust me, guys. That is exactly what I'm doing with his alt accounts. And like I said, exactly how I'm describing it to you. He comes back on multiple fucking accounts to bother me. And yet somehow it's a fucking lie when I say that you never leave me alone. You want to take a breather, King? Yes. Guys,
I'm hoping Junkie
I
shows up at some point. I think he does.
But I've been dealing with this for over a fucking year because he doesn't know how to take a fucking L. Or at least understand when I say, hey, I'm fucking taken and I don't want you bothering me, alright? Go the fuck away.
I'm fucking taken?
Doesn't understand
what?
that.
I don't know. Like, she says in a moment that
Where's
it's,
my
I guess she
money?
was joking, because it's like,
Yeah,
what the fuck
I
are you
got it.
talking about? You're
Alright.
taken.
Because I'm fucking stupid. Hold on. Can we use this? Yes. Bruh, it's been over a year, LMAO. Yeah. Can we throw this? Look inside fireplace. Yes.
I really wish the chat would show what I'm saying.
Alright, guess we'll throw those in there.
Oh, the heavy breathing.
Can we not throw them
Holy
in?
shit.
Huh.
Do you have it turned up where you
Or
can
do
hear
we
her
have to do
breathing?
it
I,
like the
I,
Yeah.
inside?
I can't.
Yes. There we go. The girl stopped crying. Oh, I guess we have to go out and check on her. Save this. Alright. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. That's just... I'm so tired. I'm so fucking tired. Like, holy shit, how hard is it to respect someone's boundaries when they say leave me alone? It's really not that fucking hard.
Hold on, pause it. Fucking seriously? From an from like an ACC person? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I fucking hate the double standards. This is the thing in this community that really fucking annoys me. And we've just gone through the whole Bo Blacks drama. And it's the same shit. It's like, you can't do content like this. It'd be like me, if I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this person is talking about me. I can't believe they're bullying me. I'm like, are you high? Like, of course, people are going to respond to you when you're like making stuff on them and constantly talking about them. And also, you become fair game. I fucking...
No, here's the thing. It was okay for them to, joke about me, to constantly bring me up when I'm not relevant. That was all fine in the eyes of the audience. They have an entire video dedicated with Xena, Fuchsia, Trent, and Foxton, where they sit around reading my comments, just having a good laugh, and that's fine. That's okay. But then, and not only that, but also spamming my comments, because again, the copy pasta boy pussy shit that happened the day Fuchsia uploaded the video on me. All that's okay. It's okay to, talk about murdering me. It's okay to call me a gum chalice, telling me to suck your... That's all fine. And it's fine to spam my comments with degen shit. Or to read my comments mocking me. But if I dare show up in your stream, the wrath. It's basically their whole stance is they can do whatever they want to you if they decide that you're the bad guy in the situation. But if you do anything in defense of yourself or even just fun back, it's harassment. Nope. You are a stalker. You just quit it. You can't do that because you're expected to just sit there and take it.
I'm so glad that these people are, because like, look, I think people can change over time, and recognize that, the way they were is like, or the way they made content is shit, or that they want to, like, again, when I first started making stuff, I'd been normified after a few years away from the internet, and I looked at that content and was like, I fucking hate this, and changed my content up. And now I had someone come to me a few months ago and be like, well, what about like this? This was very sore. And I was like, yeah, I agree with you. That's why I changed this piece of content from 2 years ago into what we are now. Like, you can change. But like,
Yeah.
I'm not mad at anybody, because like I get this occasionally in like certain older audiences, other audiences who'll know me from like way fucking back. And I'm like, I'm not mad at anyone who says that or knows me from that reputation. When I was talking about politics stuff, or like, a few people like, well, Beckett's take on this isn't good. I'm like, well, you're a leftist audience. You're gonna think that. That's fine. That's completely fair game. It's like with this shit though. They're very stuck in their ways, and it's kind of interesting with people like Miss CZ, and I'm very interested to see what happens in the aftermath of the FCK. and when all the videos are out. I'm interested to see who comes crawling back to what kind of content.
Yeah.
Because
I think a lot of them are gonna go for VTubing. I mean, Xena already put out a video, and everyone was like, Xena's gonna make a video. Not everyone, some people were like, is Xena gonna make a video on the FCK? Because she was like teasing this video on her community tab, and I was like, no, it would not be a good idea for her to make a video about it. Because either A, she's gonna leave some stuff out, I'm gonna talk about it, and then it's just gonna shine more light on what she did and her involvement. After the Twitter thread, she just wasn't going to, and it is what it is. I mean, Thuman made this point a second ago because I just checked the chat. She did make videos on predatory artists. In fact, here's something. I actually recorded this. Thank God I recorded. I have to find it, but I have it on my drive, my main one. It's not plugged in at the moment, but of my end of the chat of this stream raid. And I actually asked her why she wouldn't condemn Toby. Yeah, Toasty and Toby, because she had condemned another artist for doing the same thing that Toby did before Toby, just like a month or so beforehand, I think. And so I was like, my whole thing was, you can say this person did this and condemn them for it, but you won't say it when Toby does it. Like you refuse to say anything. Literally her response was, I don't want to speak on the Toby stuff. So you can get on anyone else when they do it, but suddenly because you're friends with this person, you don't want to speak on it. I mean, I can't pin the blame only on Xena for that, because a lot of them are like this. I was actually speaking about this with that SEC member I mentioned before, because he had told me, well, there's things that have been said and done privately, and it's like, okay, so you all can say this and this and this and this and this about people you hate publicly, but then about when it comes to the people you don't that you do like, and when they do something, all of a sudden they get privately discussed about when they did that. Because that's what I'm apparently is being suggested, is that the SCC are privately discussing what the people in the FCK that were SCC and whatnot did. And it's like, you all, I've got tweets after tweets of you all ragging on me publicly, dogpiling me when I dare poke fun at the people who are poking fun at me. But all of a sudden now you want to privately discuss it when it comes to them. Why is that? And it's a long-standing thing where it's, again, it goes back to the whole thing with Xena. They can say whatever they want about you if you're that, but you have to tiptoe around it, or you have to just take it whenever they say whatever they want about you. And these people will come back. I think Doodles will come back. I think that Xena's probably going to want to post videos more often, and the other ones are going to run for VTubing. They're going to stock up there and anchor down there, and
I want to be very clear. If they come back as VTubers and they start doing this shit, look, I'm not on a moral crusade. I never will be, but some of this shit's very funny, and I have a VTuber model now. So I'm
I was thinking of doing the same exact thing.
We could do collab VTube streams, dude. It'll be so good. We fucking incredible content. I can hook you up with a really good VTube artist. She's great. But yeah, it's one of these where, like, let them come back. Let Doodles come back. I want Doodles to come back. Please come back. I feel like with Doodles, it's one of those things where, when you're poking at somebody, you're like, I'm taking my ball, I'm going home. It's like, no, wait, hold on. Well, yeah, it'll be nice for like a week, and you can like settle down, and then we'll be mean to you. Like, just come back. It'll be different this time.
Oh my god. Yeah, I think that's. I like, that's the thing. I didn't want any of these people leaving, and so when all these people are like telling me, like Lio or like all these other people that I've spoken with, they're like, you're doing the exact same thing they are. How? I've not once demanded they leave. I've not once demanded they leave their platforms or delete anything. I don't make demands. I talk about things. I try and make people laugh. I'm not here to make any demands for anything, and I didn't want anyone leaving. I don't like. I've responded to people in my own comment section, doing their little unsub campaign suggestions, and I was like, no, I don't want these people leaving. The entire point is that they're entertainment for me. I don't want them going, especially because they do stupid shit constantly, but they love ragging on when other people do stupid shit. But all of a sudden, when they're being ragged on for stupid shit, oh God, you are a piece of shit. You have to be a psychopath, a sociopath.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've been asked when was my debut. There's actually a stream up on the channel. You know, you can like and subscribe. I know our AdSense is fucked and you can't super chat. You can buy a membership. We do more membershipy things now, hopefully, a little
Well,
bit.
Thuman, she's never gonna be honest or transparent completely. It would be suicide
Oh god,
because
yeah.
more people know about it.
Yeah. There's no way that the problem is as well. I'm going to talk about pillars again. These are all violations of these people's core pillars of where their audience is set and why they know them and why they want to support them. So they have no choice but to continue to like hide and like and make sure the light is shone on different people, and that is unfortunate because some of this shit is by their own standards egregious, and in some
Yeah.
cases by the standards of any sane normal human being pretty fucking egregious. So so
Well, yeah,
they're kind of a little bit fucked.
Because I got like this folder thing and I'm working on. But I've spoken with them. They don't like this, especially Lyle. He doesn't like that I'll reach out to people in Senate and just ask them questions and whatnot. But I do this because I can't just make claims and not have proof for it. And so if I'm going to accuse these people of being inconsistent, why don't I just ask simple questions and find out? So, like they love to accuse me of trying to dox, a minor. That's like the biggest claim that came from Ponder and Nezzy's 2 videos. I've been accused of it 7 times this year alone, and I've got an entire like the FCK Maxim is going to go into detail on the constant usage of it, which is what inspired me to make this series to begin with. Was them constantly doing it again and again and again and again. And
so where do you sit with Ponder at the moment?
Okay, so here's the thing with Ponder, right? We had a conversation before I posted the videos, and I simply wanted to just, because I'll explain this here because when we spoke about it, I told her I wasn't going to be entirely, open about all of my issues because that would be a much far longer call.
Yeah.
Anyways, than the time that she agreed to have with me, the allotted time essentially. And not only that, but I wanted to get her reaction, speak with her again after the videos came out. That was I mentioned this at the end of our calls, like, I'd love to, I'm not going to get into, I state early on, I'm not going to get into every single issue, just the main ones, because I have a couple of questions, because I had the call with her specifically, because I have trust issues with people in this community. So the plan was to ask her questions and to clarify what she was claiming at what point so that there was no miscommunication so that she couldn't say after my videos, oh, you simply misunderstood me here. So I asked her questions to get clarification so that she couldn't say, oh, you're misunderstanding me post the videos. Like that's not what I was claiming at this point. So I had that call, asked some questions, verified things. Like one of the things that I verified was them accusing me of deleting tweets. I went ahead and made sure that was a claim that they were in fact making so that she couldn't, after my videos were made, say, we weren't accusing him of deleting tweets. And even though it's very obvious because she literally says Akumu deleted this tweet, even though I didn't, her audience is fucking brain dead, okay? I have a montage unlisted in my playlist of her and Nezzy accusing me of doxing. And some of them will still deny that accusation being made, even though I have an entire folder dedicated to 5 years worth of me being accused of that and people citing Ponder and Nezzy's 2 videos. I have a group chat of Communist Creeper, Carmen Rider, Lovely Lena, and when Nil was a part of that group, all talking about me getting arrested and so and all this other shit for supposedly doxing, specifically citing Ponder, Sprocket, and Nezzy's videos. But whatever, I'm getting sidetracked. My main point here is, my thing with Ponder is, I wanted to have another conversation with her after the videos were made. She, because I randomly got kicked from Senate. And Lyle, I thought it was weird the timing of it because that's how I was talking to Ponder was through Senate. I sent her a friend request on Discord. She's ignored it. She ignored me when I was in her live chat telling her, hey, I'd like to have a chat after my videos come out. Again, I'd like to follow up. She doesn't want to. In fact, someone asked her about her thoughts on the whole thing and whatnot. And she said in response to them that she's not going to acknowledge me in my series and my videos because I'm going about it in a destructive way. So in my
I don't
issues
disagree
with
with
her,
you. I just don't like the way you're doing it. Is a hell of a fucking take. Great, awesome.
and it's like what's so destructive about this? If like I'm being transparent even about my own fuck ups. Like I go into detail about like the shit that I got wrong and what I've done throughout even the FCK Maxim I go into into that. But it's just it's one of those things where she's most likely going to ignore it. Um, and it's unfortunate because I really wanted to speak with her about the videos after my videos came out, just to get her thoughts, especially because I had questions in regards to like the whole Fego shit, like the fact that I was prioritized over that. Like that's really weird. And then the comments about, the whole like, she's not a content farmer or anything. I must be, that shit. Or um why, nothing's been said about Nezzy and all this other stuff. Like dispel false narratives, but nothing's being said about any of this stuff for years. I mean, she'll correct misinformation about other people, and she offered to make a statement right after in our call when we had it. I think it was 2023. She offered to make a statement to tell people to go watch the video. I was like, I don't want you to feel like you have to do that. Instead, I'll promote the video myself. And I start promoting the video in her comments, and I'm specifically in the comments of the videos on me. And then she hides me from her channel. Mind you, she's the same person who got onto me for deleting Slamerz's comment. So the same person who got onto me for censorship by the time I had stopped doing it, and got onto me for deleting Slamerz's comment on a video about Slamers, was now hiding me because I was commenting on a video about me. But her audience makes excuses for that. And then, her doxing claim, by her own logic, she's actually done that by her own logic. Not that she actually has, but what she claims was attempted doxing. She did the exact same thing in 2022, but there's no conversation about that. So my issue is, I don't hate her. At most, it's a disliking because of the hypocrisy and the fact that she outright, like, the month that she started scripting the 2 videos on me, she made her video on Sashley. Anyone can go fact check me right now. In her Sashley video, she specifically clarifies that doxing is releasing private information publicly with malicious intent. She contradicted that to even accuse me of attempted doxing in the collab on me. So it's just so many of these issues that I wanted to get into after I made the videos to have a conversation with her, and she doesn't want to. It's probably in her best interest to avoid it, but then again, her audience will buy anything that she says. So
I mean,
and even in our conversation, she acknowledges that her audience just is pretty blind.
yeah, I think so. So my thing with Ponder is this: I'm obviously friendly with people who are friendly with Ponder, if that makes sense. I've had some pretty big criticisms for Ponder. I think a lot of the people who want to go at Lyo should have similar criticisms for Ponder. And you know me, I don't like the double standards. If you're gonna have issues with one person for this thing, have issues with the other person. Like with Ponder, it seems very much that Ponder's got this reputation as very nice, very therapeutic, very intelligent, but all I've actually seen out of Ponder is a nicer tone to the same kind of, well, look, bullying content, and I'm not against bullying content. That's my content, but I always want the honesty of it, and I also think that if you're going to do it, you again should be honest about that. I think I mean I've had takes where like members of the audience have been like, oh, I don't like this take, or I disagree with you here, Beckett, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine, good. I encourage that. You should feel that way. But it's one of those with Ponder where you're probably right. It's not in her best. It's not in her best interest to have that discussion with you. But she'd go up in my estimations if she did. And like, I think that until she does, and until there's some acknowledgement, because while I don't care about accountability content,
she does.
She does.
She claims to. Yeah. That's the whole
and
thing.
It's like if you do, you should. Firstly, you protected people who are now guilty. And have been shown to be guilty, and have lied to you, and have lied to their audiences, and have lied to your audience. Whether it was through that lie that you went after Akumu, you did. Sorry, I'm saying this like I'm addressing her, but I know that her friends watch my content, and on the on chance she sees this, if you actually give a shit, you should have that conversation, and you should probably be, even-handed, because otherwise I don't really see a difference between Ponder and Lyo at all. I think they're the same people with different voices.
I think
And
that's a really good point. I've been making this pretty often. It's that the reason the same fucking people that are in Ponder's audience are now in Lyos. And the reason why is because they crave, okay, they're fiending for it like crackheads that need a fix of someone that like goes after the people they don't like. They need it. They crave it. They desire it. And so because Ponder hasn't been making content like that very often, if at all anymore, he was their next bet. You know, their for their crusades. He was the perfect fucking replacement for it, and he had Ponder's fucking stamp of approval to do it. So that's why they all flock to fucking Lio, and that's why the same people that I dealt with years ago from her fucking audience are the same exact ones in fucking Lio's audience. And I've actually sat down and taken the time to literally start to put together a folder going over this so that people can't say that I'm bullshitting. I even sent Lio some of it, and at that point he just couldn't respond to it anymore. And it's this thing where they need it, and Ponder's no longer doing it, so Lio was the next bet. And sure, they go about it differently. Lio he's willing to say the mean words they don't like, but they'll make an exception for Lio because he's got the stamp of approval. That's all that matters. Like her audience is. I don't want to be too rude here because I don't want to offend the ones that aren't that gullible. But in my experience with him, and I have gone out of my way
let's
to
say there's a
explain things.
section. There's a section
Yeah,
of
there's
that
a sizable
audience.
section. There's a sizable section of that audience where unless Ponders like goes out of her way to proclaim it, they will never ever believe anything that's thrown against Ponder. In fact, when they hear something that's contradicting to what Ponder has ever claimed in a situation, they stonewall. Like they what would be a good example of conversation I've had? I have quite a few that I had.
So
Uh,
before you give an example, because I can see, because I know Simmons in chat, obviously, and Mally, who are two people that I get on with fairly well. And I know they have this question. This is why I'm, like I've been pretty open with my criticisms towards Ponder. I understand why others aren't, and this is again, we can have differing opinions. I think this is one of the reasons that I like this chat, and I think it's one of the reasons that the coverage I've done has lasted, if that makes sense. As much as I'm mean, as a bit more of a middle ground. It's one of those where like
yeah.
I don't think I'd believe Ponder, and I certainly don't. I think it's you should have the conversation is like a core thing, because I actually just think that's the right thing to do. And a lot of people tell me I'm wrong about Ponder, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I think it would be cool if she proved it, because I don't think you've been unreasonable in the conversations you've had with Lio. I don't think you've been unreasonable. I think, again, you've been mean in your coverage, but you have supported things. And I think that's, the correct, the fair thing to do. And people can say, well, I don't like this because it's destructive. It has been destructive, but the only reason that it's ended up as destructive is because so many people involved in the FCK lied about the FCK, and they lied about you to cover up things. That's what this whole fucking drama is.
Well, a lot of people point to the fact that I don't like the FCK as a conflict of interest, or some shit like that. And I think that's interesting because this is never said about when anyone else makes a video on someone they don't like, especially fucking Peaches, the Camila Cuevas video. Nothing was said then about that. It's thrown at me to discredit, like, for example, my two videos on Pondering. Their whole thing with that is well, I'm just, in fact, one of them recently said this, that I was just mad that I was humiliated and dragged through the mud by Ponder. And so I have this whole playlist of like, I don't think that Ponder has some delusional sense of self or anything like that. I think that she just like, she doesn't exactly help the fact that she's got this really drastic reputation that reaches the point of like I don't know, overestimation, inflation. I don't know what the word would be, but you got people talking about like let me read some of it. Better yet, instead of just trying to summarize, let me read some of the stuff that. Hold on.
Just as a very
Where's it at?
quick thing before you start reading, because I do want to hear it. But I also want to say, because I can see some Lavender said, Lio uses Ponder to boost his own reputation. I will say this,
Yeah.
and this isn't me trying to like defend Lio, but this is my experience. Lyo has been a lot more defensive of Ponder to me, and in private, than Ponder has been of Lyo, in my experience. And while people can say, oh, well, it's to boost his reputation, I do think Lyo has held like quite a lot of loyalty to Ponder without wanting or requiring anything in return. Even when things went sour, he continued to do that, and I do think I think that's notable just for their relationships, rather than just a defense, because I think it's important to be accurate. But anyway, go on, give us a read.
Okay, hold on. I gotta find the folder for it. There it is. Okay, so aside from the people returning to Ponder's comments to proclaim that I haven't grown, matured, or learned my lesson, there's like I have a folder here which is very interesting. Let's read some. Okay, these are their older comments. I want to read the more newer ones because I feel like the older ones it wouldn't be as fair.
Oh, the silence. Oh, I have a little bit of dead air and you guys flip out. See, I get bullied by my chat.
Okay, so this is a comment that a friend of mine got on one of his videos. So this isn't necessarily about me, but this is to do with Ponder. And this is one of like her biggest fucking like D1 glazers, Izaki-chan. They said, oh, honey, you and me both know that if Ponder decides to respond to you, you're going to feel so much on your sorry little ass, Lamau. Enjoy the few minutes of fame. Now, this same individual's gone on record to say that, hold on, let me go to their folder specifically. Where's it at? Where are you at? Okay, so this was in fucking, I think, either Harley's comment section or something years ago. We're talking 2021. This person said, "Isn't he the same guy who was trying to say that the artist from the Madame situation was just as bad as Madame, even though they were a whole child? Like this kid has a lot of free time and never learns." And this is the same individual, Izaki-chan, who replied, "Yes, it's him. You know someone is fucked up when they don't change after being called the fuck up and roasted by Ponder." And I got a bunch of the comments like these, where like they just really overinflate what Ponder did, and I don't think that she necessarily like thinks of herself in this way. But my problem is she's willing to correct misinformation against other people, but she wants to stay silent about this. Why is that? What is, and if it's the it's destructive excuse.
Well, yeah, I mean,
If there's no dishonesty on my end, why does that matter?
well, it's
Like
also
it's only
like
reached
how
this point.
destructive has this been towards you?
I mean, considering the fact that, like, Thuman, for example, one of the earliest things that Thuman told me was like, I had this reputation to like for people to like look out and worry, or I wouldn't say fear, but just avoid, and that I never had. Like another thing too is I have this reputation that's been given to me that I don't have evidence, and anytime I provide evidence, they just say that it's not evident. Like when the confession, in fact, I have screenshots of comments from Rin's video that they made on Toasty Vanilla in 2020. And not only were people throwing a fit for Rin daring to even use me as a source, even though I had a confession from Toasty, but the person was saying that my evidence wasn't real. I had a fucking confession, a recorded confession from Toasty. And it wasn't real because Ponder has given me this reputation of I don't have proof. My evidence has not existed. And so it's been the constant doxing accusation. In fact, the group chat with Carmen Ryder, all of them, people constantly citing it, accusing me of trying to dox minor over and over and over again. Nothing's been said about that. It's yeah, right here. Thuman just said Kumu the boogeyman, the troll. I'm gonna post everything and publish everything in my. I made a new Google account. I think I actually called it arttartgalore at gmail.com. And I'm going to be throwing everything up on the Google Drive, and I'll be putting that out there when I drop the FCK Maxim video, and that's going to go into. It's probably going to be fucking 5-6 hours long. Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
It's a
But I'm going to be
magnum
going into
opus.
all that. Yeah, it's my magnum opus. I'm gonna get into everything because, well, not everything, but I'm gonna get into a lot of examples of those videos in particular being thrown in my face. I got Junkie citing those videos. I got her audience repeatedly citing those videos. I got people in during the Kai situation bringing up her two videos, and not only that, but citing the claims from them. You know, the doxing claim, especially in 2021. Kai, he's apologized for this, so I'm not using this against Kai. I want to clarify. He has apologized for this. But in 2021, he was accusing me of trying to dox Lemurs because of Ponder and Nezzy's videos, specifically citing those two videos. So I got it. I got examples in Discord servers, multiple Discord servers. I got examples across YouTube from different situations. I got her audience, telling people not to ever listen to me, just simply, go watch Ponder and Nezzy's videos if they want to learn about how I really am. And the majority of those videos weren't even right. Like if I were to cut it down, there would at best be maybe like 20 minutes were correcting me on something or like weren't just either contradicting themselves, making something up, or outright just like cutting context to the whole doxing shit and then just running with that. But for years now, 4 years, 5 years, I've dealt with constantly being accused of shit I didn't do. And this goes into my thing. It's like Nezzy, her whole thing is Nezzy Heaton. Heaton complained about this in the Senate call. You know, he hasn't stopped bringing this up about Nezzy, like the sexual harassment claim and the doxing. Why is it wrong of me to continuously bring up what these people did when you all are the same audience and Heaton herself included? Because fun fact, Heaton is one of the people that pushed the claims in a gender debate in 2021, October 2021, a gender debate that is on my channel. If you guys want to go find it, it's with Bunk. Look in the live chat. Heaton Mitsaru or Heaton Nonaruni, Raruni, or however you pronounce her, or the other part, pops up into the chat to accuse me of trying to dox a minor and then cites Ponder and Nezzy's videos. So it's okay for them to keep bringing up shit that I didn't do over and over and over again. In fact, better yet, how about a more recent example? Like the whole Cine shit. I'm not involved in that, and I'm being brought up, and the madame shit's being brought up because I'm friends with Kumo.
Yeah, I
I
saw
have
that.
not touched that with a 10-foot fucking pole, and yet because Kumo associates with me, they're bringing that up and then bringing up the same old exact fucking claims from Ponder and Nezzy's videos, citing those videos.
Well, I've
So
seen
it's been a
I've seen
thing.
people take shots at Kuma recently. Actually, I mean, like, it's interesting you bring that up because I wanted to talk to you about this. Because I have purposefully avoided the Cine stuff, and the Birdie stuff. I saw it come out, and I saw the initial logs, and you know when you look at something, you're like, oh, this is gonna be a headache. Instantly. That's what I saw, and that's why I never covered it. And I was like, right, when everything settles, then I'll either do a retrospective or I'll do a stream going, actually, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how much do you know about it? Can we talk about this?
I don't know much. I've heard things. I have not went up fact check anything because I've been focused on like the FCK stuff and like making my video. And have those videos been taken? No, Thuman, I could anyone can link those two videos in the chat right now, and they haven't been taken down. No corrections have been made, and that's my thing. It's like if Ponder's willing to make corrections for other people, why has it never been made in regards to me ever? And these videos are still clung to, mind you. And here's the thing: Ponder's biggest whole her audience will wave this around that she was just dispelling false narratives and clearing up misinformation. In her quest to dispel false narratives and point out contradictions and demonstrate contradictions and wrongdoings, she made a false narrative that's been held against me for 4 years and put out misinformation. Mind you, my video had 3K views when she covered it. 3K views. It skyrocketed. It went up to like what, 10 or 11K now. Now after the videos, but before it was at 3K. So she put out misinformation to hundreds of thousands of people, while my video was immediately hated upon release. No one listened to me. So what she claims was so, like what the big thing against me was, um, she did far worse, but it's not been corrected. But with the Cine shit, that's a mess that I don't even know if I want to touch. I've tried to stay out of it, and then I'm being brought up regardless because Kumo, said something about it on he made 2 streams about it. and I don't know anything about it. I've tried to stay in my lane.
Yeah,
I've
I mean it's understandable. So all I'll say on is this because like so Kumo went on Chud Logics yesterday, and talked about it a bit. Now I spoke to Kumo before he went on because I was watching this unfold on Chuds and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. My take is this: Kumo is not defending Cine, he's condemning Cine, but, and here's the but, it's one of these where Kumu seems to have evidence that Birdie has basically been gay opsing Cine, has done similar or worse stuff anyway, and the shit with Birdie should also be discussed, and in some ways is just weirder. Whereas like his take on Cine and the 14-year-old is that these were two people who were with very low boundaries, but Cine wasn't grooming. Now, my disagreement here, like, and I said this on a call with Kumu, and like, again, I don't have to fucking agree with everything he says. I don't think Cine Bear like actively seems to have like what's a good way to put this? I don't think Cine Bear is like actively going and hunting down children, but Cine Bear's so retarded that
and the negligence is
yeah, it's just like that's in fuck it. It's like what are you meant to do with that? Like so yeah, like I fully get the condemnation. But yeah, I kind of get the whole kind of like if the Birdie stuff's interesting, we can talk about the Birdie stuff. Like I get that take. I think it's also one of those where like Kumu's always got this thing where you know, he sees the gay ops and that's the thing that he's going to gravitate towards as a thing to talk about because that's, you know, what he wants to focus on.
yeah.
Which I get. I think it's one of those where like if like I seem to have a reasonable conversation with him, and his statement on Chud seems clear that he's not trying to like get Cine off scot free. I don't know if that's the same for I don't know if that's the same for like other people who've sided with Cine. I don't fucking know. But it smells a little bit of, well, Kumu's involved and Kumu's gonna defending Cine Bear who's a groomer, which is not the take that I've heard out of Kumu, and I want to be clear, I've heard very limited amounts. But yeah, like that's pretty much all I've got, and I'm like, okay, well, gay opsing in like the fucking art community, it's a day ending with Y. That seems a reasonable fucking.
Every situation probably has a gay op, but that's a rule of thumb for everyone here. If there's a situation, like 99.8%, there's probably a gay op. Probably, not always, but probably.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll be honest with you. From what I've seen of the Cine logs, I think the Cine video, like watching Chud cover it, is so insane. Like their first response, that it's very funny, undeniably. I mean, it's very fucked up, but it's very funny. But the Birdie stuff also seems like quite a funny rabbit hole. I just want to just one thing in chat. So I think it was Clef said, your reputation is in the toilet because you talked to Akumu. I think I've said pretty early on, that like. I'm one of these people that I'll talk to anyone, but I've been pretty open about the fact that I like Vlad, I like Akumu, I like Kumu, I like Enla. I get on with these people in the same way that I'm friendly with Sarah and I'm friendly with Mon and I'm friendly with Pizza. Good timing. And Sumid and Mali, and like I'm happy to hear all fucking sides of the story, and I think I've been pretty good at like putting aside my personal feelings with things and just going for what I think.
In my experience with the art community, and I don't actually, not even in my experience, a lot of my friends that I've had through this community have constantly caught flack for either casually talking with me or being a friend of me. And so it's one of those things where the art community, because I have this reputation where anything I ever say is wrong, and if I'm right, I'm bad faith, dishonest, just looking for revenge, all that yada yada bullshit. It's one of those things where they think that they decide everyone else's reputation, and then in that same breath, they're fucking consistent as shit, and they hate. But the one thing, one of the biggest things they hate the most is if you cite someone that they don't like, or if you talk with someone they don't like and you hear their side out. And so honestly, that's a big motivating factor for why I'd say that the whole FCK stuff took forever to become a conversation.
Yeah.
Was because no one wanted to hear me out. And I went to several people to talk about it. I tried to I made videos in 2020. All of them are brushed aside. You can look in it's allegedly Ponder server when Nezzy did her reaction to Ren's video and denied that there were minors in the FCK. Doodle's whole thing was, well, if it's Akumu's video and it's from Akumu's video, what evidence does Akumu have? Question mark. In putting the evidence in like the italic font. It's been like this long-standing thing where simple association is bad. You can't do that. Okay, you're not allowed. You're not allowed to. You are not allowed to. You
Yeah. And
the second Kumo became friends with me. In fact, this ties right back into the topic. The second Kumo became friends with me, he was hearing about being friends with me, and one of the earliest things that he dealt with was Mushroom Girl bringing up our friendship and then accusing me of trying to dox a minor. So it's always going to be a
wait,
thing you'll probably hear about in the future.
when was that?
2022. That's 2022. Yeah.
I thought Mushroom Girl was fairly new. Are we talking
No,
about the
not
same
really.
person? The like one who is like a mix between F-Rom and Doodle Tones if you put them into a like cocktail shaker and then smash them around.
Yeah. Yeah. Same one. Actually, here's the funny thing. I cover this in the Maxim video because I'm going over all the examples that being levied at me. It's funny because she was she was essentially throwing gasoline on a fire for me to make the series. Because I'd already been constantly accused of it in 2021. Then I was accused of it early 2021, end of 2021, into 2022. And then as I'm working on the series, just making it, she goes and does it. So I was like, all right, fuck it. The same month I actually posted, you guys can check this out. It was just this really pretentious over the top video. Actually, maybe I should stream it. I don't know. It's like a few seconds long.
Yeah, we'll have a look.
Clip
I just want to quickly say, you've changed my perspective entirely, because I found out about Mushroom Girl through Kumo. And I was like, well, this person is... Because I asked Kumo, like, who else is funny? And then I saw them, and I was like, well, this person is... has issues. But my impression was, because I never looked at how old the channel was, that they were very new, and I thought, fuck it, I won't be me. But if they've been around for years, that changes my... Expect a Mushroom Girl stream, because holy shit, their content's fucking...
She's a young individual.
How young? How young are we talking?
She's 16 or 17 now, I think. So I think she's 16.
I feel bad. I feel bad actively going and bullying a kid.
Well, here, like, I made a post the other day, and some people ragged on me for it. Maybe they misunderstood it and whatnot. But it was because she was all for the FCK stuff, right? Peddling it and whatnot. So I made a joke because she had caught some flack for the pro shipper stuff, and she turned off the comments. And I was like, wait a second, a 16-year-old turning off comments? Hold on now. This is the art community. They should be dogging on her more. And I was joking simply because that's what they did with me. When Ponder and Nezzy's 2 videos dropped, the 2 videos that fucking Mushroom Girl loves so much, I temporarily turned off the comments and I caught more flack from them. So I was just prodding at Mushroom Girl for doing the same thing after, supporting the very people that it essentially sort of put me in that position. Again, I reacted poorly. I get it. But that's all it was. Some people thought I was like trying to stoke the flame, but no, I was just being petty. And it's one of those things where I don't talk about her unless it's just that. Unless it's like that whole little
that's
thing.
Fine. I mean, I just want to take the piss out of somebody. Okay, she's just turned 17. Mushroom Girl, you have a year. You have a year of grace. When you turn 18, I'm fucking coming. I'll be nice for you. No, I mean, listen, I think that I think that people like Mushroom Girl are really interesting, actually, because it's like the next wave that's coming up. So, and I like talking about ACC stuff from like a distance, without being part of the ACC and like having a mix and range of my content. But there is, somebody a bigger YouTuber, much bigger YouTuber, was messaging me about all the like side dramas and things and all the side stuff that happens. And they were like, "You're really plugged into that rather than sort of the mainstream." stuff. And I'm like, yeah, because it's just more interesting. It's more crazy, and like the people
Oh
involved
yeah,
are like
yeah.
more unhinged. So it's one of the, I don't think I'm gonna stop anytime soon. I understand why back in the day Jim was looking at these smaller communities, because it's so much less self-moderated, because people are just like, yeah, we can get away with this for like 2 years because no one will look at us.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
by the time it fucking happens, you're just like, holy shit. Have you heard of a One Neku drama? God, I don't know, but everyone's got the name Neko. Tell me about it, Thuman. Like off stream, because like, yeah, I'm always looking to go into more random stuff, and I need a bit more. We're hitting
Did
the
you
lull of the
see?
year, so I need more chaos.
Did you see Nezzy's reaction to the Chuli video?
To the witch video,
So Chuli released a video on Heaton, and the
really?
video mentioned Nezzy and the irony of Nezzy using the "I was a dumb 19-year-old" card. I didn't know any better, because that was not applied to Chuli. When Chuli was subtweeting, when Nezzy was subtweeting about, yeah, correction, when Nezzy was subtweeting about Chuli. So I the reaction was complaining that Chuli mentioned their involvement in the FCK, and then, well, stay mad that he chose Avi, chose me over you, and that had nothing to do with the video, and then deleted it. The same person that said deleting tweets is immediately trying you're immediately trying to hide it against yourself. Deleted the tweet a couple hours afterward. I thought that was like fucking hilarious. Because like it was like a high school mean girl response. Stay mad that he chose me. It's like that had nothing to do with the video.
Wasn't this what like Hidden said about Sin? Yeah, Peaches was mad that Sin chose me over over Peaches. So she fucking did. Christ. I mean, look, I think. So I was reading through Nezzy's Twitter before stream, obviously, because I wouldn't have the fucking questions for you. But like the more I go through it, the more it is just like endless looping cope, and
Yeah.
it's
That's perfectly good. Yeah.
I'm kind of astonished. I mean, credit to Nezzy, she hasn't run away. In fact, she's doubling down with, I'm gonna make content. Like she's keeping
Yeah.
the comms
Yeah.
open. She's got her. I'm assuming Avi is her partner.
I yeah, from what I gathered, yes. I mean, otherwise, why would I say stay mad? He chose me over you.
Yeah, and
I mean,
they're like
so
managing her DMs, which is God, I can't imagine. Yeah, no, listen, I can't take you DMing me anymore. So I'm not even gonna read them. They'll be read by my manager. Do you? I mean, okay. Out of all of this, is there anyone we haven't discussed yet who you feel is worth discussing from the FCK stuff?
anyone? I want to. I talk about Toasty more in the FCK Maxim because, well, there hasn't been a response yet that I've seen.
Yeah.
But there is some interesting things that I found about Toasty, particularly some Twitter interactions that'll be in the Maxim video. Where during the Toby drama, you know, this is a point that I make. I guess I'm spoiling this. So this is a point that I make in the
Go on,
video, guys. So
give me
here's
an
a little
exclusive.
piece. Yeah, I'll give you this little exclusive thing. I find it really baffling that Toby, Mad Libs, Toasty of all fucking people, wanted to sit there and go at Ben. Okay, you don't like the porn he makes, whatever. But then you guys are like, you caught liking this shit, especially fucking Toasty. But here's the thing: they thought having their little civil war over underage fictional characters being sexualized, which, yeah, it's gross, but like 1 minute you guys are okay with it, and 1 minute you're okay with it, the next minute you're not. But they thought that was such a taboo thing. Meanwhile, these are the same people who sat in the server showing minors pornography and getting them to draw it. So their priorities were, it doesn't matter that we're showing kids porn, doesn't matter that we're getting them to draw it. No, 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 no. What's more important is, Ben, you just drew that underage character sexually. We might have talked about porn websites, kinks, got them to draw porn, but that that doesn't matter. The fictional shit is what matters.
Did they send nudes in the server?
Not the closest thing I would think would be the thigh pictures, which it's sexual but not nudes. Um, the closest thing that I think I've seen to like nudes would be some of the shit that was sent in Fuchsia Butter's Discord server that I talked about, and then I was accused of by Junkie of cutting context.
Toby did?
And he's since
Jesus.
like, yeah, no, not Toby. No. It
Okay.
was in Fuchsia's server that certain members sent what was very close to pornography.
Right,
It
okay.
wasn't. It was in lingerie, so there was nothing there. But there were, the thigh pictures sent, and then some very interesting conversations in the FCK. Laka has a stream going very in depth on it. Who said Toby did?
Laka.
Okay. Um, Yeah, 25. So it's insane to me that while they're having this fucking crusade in the Toby situation over, fictional shit, when they were just showing real minors pornography for months on end, spamming it, getting them to draw it, talking about masturbating to them and all kinds of stuff. Especially fucking Toasty. Especially Toasty. And then to sit there on Twitter and grandstand about fucking artwork, you're drawing that's where you're gonna draw the line there. And that's the line in the sand for Toasty, apparently, at that point. And so I go into depth on that in the FCK Maxim because I recovered a lot of tweets. So I Toasty would be another one, an interesting individual. I mean, I don't really know much about Ellie or Mavi, aside from, they kind of lied about how much they knew. They were telling Teddy, "Oh, I barely knew anything." Well, then why does Nezzy state in the DMs that you blocked Toasty because he was a sex pest? If you didn't know jack shit, why'd you block Toasty?
Jesus.
So that's another thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing that I highlight that I want to cover in the video. Let me think of some other stuff. I also include some stuff from the audience in the FCK Max, and that's probably why it's a little bit lengthier than it should be. But that's just to give people an idea as to what I was dealing with at the time while simply just talking about this. Uh, so I not all of it. It would be way longer if I included all of it. Like I don't want to pin the blame and say that the audience were fully on board with it, but I'd say that a large portion of that community was completely because some of it was in public.
Yeah.
Some of it was. I mean, like Toasty's degeneracy was barely a fucking secret. Like it was all over his fucking Twitter account. It was and when I talked about it in my video, it was completely ignored. Ren tried to talk about it. They tried to gaslight Ren, and this isn't that big of a deal. You're very unfair to Toasty. That's what Junkie said about Ren's video. Was Ren was very uncharitable to Toasty, very uncharitable.
Yeah, but crazy that that's their
Yeah.
take. Quickly, I've got a follow up question to that, but I've got a question from Jack. Is there anyone who's like a sneaky prick who's trying to who's snuck away but is also trying to come back? I mean, we know about people like Coyote and Buttons and people like that, but anyone else who's like up to their fucking neck, who's like maybe a minor player?
That's an interesting question. Up to their neck. I don't know. Because I mean, I've heard nothing and seen nothing from Toasty. I would bet that Toasty's still around on an account lurking, but I have no proof. So that's nothing. Fuchsia's still around, but I've seen nothing aside from being active on the Discord account. Technically, I mean, Doodle Tones wasn't neck deep in the stuff, but the whole being in the Slimmers chat was something that Junkie, fucking thank you, Laka, thank you. So Junkie had a very good idea as to the FCK server. Not only did he question why there was porn being shown to Slimmers and being sent in the chat, and then when Toasty was like, "Oh, we just send porn wherever we want to," Junkie was like, "Ah, just continue." So not only did he know about that pretty early on into the year of 2020, but then he proceeded to try and claim I was misrepresenting his friends when I talked about it. So he defended that. He was defending Fuchsia when he knew how bad that was, because I think he was in Fuchsia's server. He knew how bad fucking Toasty was. And then he gave his little pathetic sob story bullshit on fucking Laka's stream about, well, I was just a coward. Yeah, no, you were a coward. We're not. We know that about you already. It's why is it? It's not why didn't you say anything, because you were never going to. Let's be real. It's why did you like it? He did the opposite of saying nothing. He went out of his way to defend these people. In fact, I'm going to be posting this really soon. I have the interview that he had Phantom Heart do with Toasty Vanilla in 2021 for his Toby video.
Are
And
you
that backs
posting the
up a
full
lot of
thing?
shit. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because it's like Toasty talks about the Futanari image that he had made of Mad Libs. He tries to like say that I've misrepresented him, all this other stuff. He goes in depth on a lot of shit. But Junkie remained friends with Toasty long after knowing about it. And yet, really loved to run his mouth about me and Rin for daring to talk about fucking Toasty and Toasty's involvement. So that's going to be included into the maximum. I recently recorded a part of that, but Junkie's a particularly interesting one. And then actually recently I replied, I don't want to say recently, about a month or two ago, I replied to some of his old tweets, and then he ended up deleting the tweets and nuking the account. So, um,
If you want to cut things down, like, because I know you're worried
mhm,
about length, one thing that might be good is if you've got like a lot of these responses, rather than doing it in
mhm,
parts for the video, release the video like with some of the evidence you need, but basically just
mhm.
point to other, like, release it as a set, and then you
Yeah,
can have like the set videos. And I'm not just saying that because then also rather than reacting to your video, I can react to some of the raw, and it gives me content. I would never do that and be selfish, but that sort of gives time for like an audience to go, well, here's the thing, and then also other people can pick up
yeah,
bits, because there are so many conversations. Like I know Lacquer's got some. I've meant to have Lacquer on for a while now, actually. By the way, like at some point we probably need to chat about some of the shit that's happened, because I think you're fairly plugged in. I think it'd be interesting, but there are still so many calls floating around that I haven't heard, that the audience hasn't heard, that I think would be really good. And as we sort of approach this final, this next step, I won't say final because none of this ever fucking ends, but I would like to like re-engage with some of these calls and like go over
yeah,
some of the older stuff, because I think so much of it is relevant, not just to what happened, but who people are behind the scenes, which isn't which is actually really valuable. I think people would be surprised how much there's a difference with, especially with certain people, to how they are on screen in a video
yeah,
essay to who they are like privately, or in a VC or a call. And I think that's informative for audiences. It dispels some of that parasocial myth, I think,
yeah.
which is really
That's one of the
important.
biggest things I wanted to get with this series is, like you have all of these people have this idea about like all their favorites, but like,
Hey,
if you
Seraphy.
learn about what they do, it's it, it's incongruent. That's a way of putting it. It's vastly different. And
So
so this whole situation is massive, but it shows that a lot.
I will say I was in a group call a few months ago, and someone joined that group call. I'm going to be very, very vague, posty here,
Hmm.
but it's more to give an example. But they were involved in all this in a way they haven't been. They were discussed quite early on, but they haven't been like a main focus. They haven't been on like a lot of streams or anything. And I didn't
Hmm.
speak to them, but I just observed the conversation they had with somebody else, and I immediately lost all sympathy for this person in any way. No, again, I know this is really vague, posty. I apologize, but
Hmm.
it's one of these where I was like, when I heard what they said in that in that VC, I was like, wow, you actually are a fucking scumbag. Um, and there are, I think, a fair amount of people like floating around who are like that. That if people saw those sides of them, they'd be like, what the fuck? And for some of them, especially the ones who've claimed victimhood or claimed that they've been like, or claimed that like you were harassing them and things,
Oh
um,
yeah, they love that.
it's one of those where it's like, well, okay, I know how malicious some people are, and I know how fucking angry some people are. And I mean, again, I'll be less vague posted with another person. I've ended up in a fair amount of calls, not fair amount, like 3 or 4 calls with Ephron. And it's changed my opinions of Ephron, because while I think Ephron is still a spurg, Ephron can actually take a joke, which really fucking surprised me. Like, Ephron will sit in a call and let people and like have back and forth with people and doesn't mind if people are particularly harsh with them. And I'm like, that's not something you see in everyone. But it is
Yeah.
also the reason why I was happy to like be in like the pit call with him and Vlad, because I was like, you know what, fair enough. And it's get sorry, I try those statements, Jesus Christ. There wasn't anyone in chat. It wasn't anyone any of you will care about, I don't think, or be surprised by. But it's one of these things where there are so many things floating around and so many conversations where people have these either terrible or good impressions that I think we should all just be a bit more balanced. And again, I never want to cancel anyone. I agree with Akumu. I hope Doodles comes back. I hope Doodles comes back and makes daily fucking content, because that's going to be like fucking great, you know? Would you say that right now, what are your plans afterwards, actually? After
I
you're
have
done?
some videos planned afterward. Probably like sort of like video essays. Maybe a couple on some games. Uh, I thought about doing some like, because I do write and I do draw. Uh, I just have never. I guess that's. I just never shared much, and I thought about doing that a little bit. Because I've been working on a couple of things, and I got some other deep dives that I have evidence for after this. Um, it's just one of those things where it's gonna be a nice thing off the shoulder in a way, because it's not that big of a thing, but also at the same time, it's like, okay, fine, finally there's a conversation about it, and I can move on after the series. And so I got some videos lined up that are already made. They've been made for I think a year now after this that are a little old. Um, but I put so much forward with this, so it'll be nice to just be able to post, either retrospectives on old stuff or deep dives into um, certain games, old games that probably no one will give a shit for, which is fine. And then I might still talk about like the more recent topics, but I prefer to do retrospectives. After having made this series on the FCK, I think I prefer to talk about stuff that's sort of already happened,
Hmm.
because I feel like my videos on the stuff that's already happened are better than the ones where like my TISM reports, where I talk about stuff that's actually like taking place in the moment. People maybe enjoy them, but I prefer the older stuff. So I'll probably move to that and talk about stuff that's already taken place and document stuff like that. That's the
Yeah.
sweet
It's
spot, I think, for me.
I think it's an interesting one as well. I'm similar. Like I'm thinking of doing a quick video on Steve Shives, who's like an ancient male feminist lolcow, basically, and he's still making content. But there are things out there that I think are fun, because you can kind of go, well, here's a load of information to laugh at or like pick through.
Yeah.
And I think also I agree with you. You're best when you've got like things that are like solid. And I think from your own experiences, you feel more comfortable with that because it's made you more rigorous over time.
Yeah.
Which kind of speaks to that older stuff. But also, you're generally very entertaining, so you've got that advantage. Steve is still around. Steve is making insane content on Star Trek and skits, and they're all awful, and they all get like surprisingly good views. I'm not sure from who, but whoever his audience still is should be studied, frankly. Um, um, what would I guess what would your message be for the people who are still coping about the FCK stuff? For the people who are,
Okay.
yeah,
I can put it really pretentious, or I can put it just casually.
let's do pretentious. I like pretentious, Akuma.
This is the sum total of their compounding failures.
Do you ever think you'll speak to Lio again?
Okay, the other day he he wanted to play Halo with me on Steam, and he was like, he wanted to add. He asked, he's like, do you like Halo? And it's like, I mean, yeah, but I haven't played it in years. And he's like, you know, it's on Steam, right? And I was like, no, I didn't know that. And he's like, you should add me on there. We should play sometime. And I was like, I know better than that. And he was like, what? And he's like, okay, well, whatever. And he gave me his Steam and it's whatnot. I think that Lio behind the scenes is much more chill.
Yeah, he is.
But here,
I mean,
I'm
listen.
petty.
You're- I know you are.
And it's one of those things where
I don't think people. I get where you're coming from. I don't think people realize this with Lio. Because again, I've been really open on the fact that I've had my shouting matches with Lio, but I've also had a lot like conversations with him as well. Because from some perspectives, I actually want to know the guy. And my general take is this: Lio has two modes, and he has this. I want to hold people to account and do the right thing, and I'm the adult in the room mode, which is less and less prevalent over time. Over this going on because either it has been beaten out of him, or he is just fucking done. And then you have Lio that is much more chilled out and just wants to hang out with people.
yeah.
And I think it is fine to hate Lio for those who do. And because again, I don't fucking hate anyone online. I mean, I've said this multiple times. I don't care about any of this enough to actually fucking like keep myself up at night about it. But it's fine to have that side, but also acknowledge that Lio is a human being and he's just a nerd. You know, like I think the last message I got from Lio was a book, like a picture of a book on North American crabs. That's the last thing he DM'd me like 2 weeks ago. So it's, he has these two sides. And again, this goes back to why I think it's actually interesting seeing what people are like on both sides. Because in some ways as well, I think one of the interesting things is Chill Lio. I think if more people were aware of Chill Lio, and I know people have this gut reaction of Lio can't be chill, but actually is a much less scary Lio in some respects. He's not this, I'm going to fucking hold people to account. He's just a dude. Right,
Yeah.
and taking away some of that mysticism to him that got built up by people like Peaches, like Doodles, I think is actually has some value to it, if you like.
It's one
Yeah.
of those things where I'm like, so the FCK shit I've dealt with, and I told him about that in calls. So I feel some sort of petty way about it, where it's like I told you about all this. I tried to. We had numerous conversations. You told me you weren't like these people, that you were different, and that you would hear me out. And then constantly at every turn, I'm getting the shaft for these fucking people. And now things have sort of passed and whatnot. And sure, move on, whatever. Me personally, I'll move on, but I'm not trusting of people. And so like sort of once that sort of happened, it's it's best I'm just gonna be separate as much as possible. I can be chill with the guy. I can talk with him cordially, but like cordial. There we go. I think cordial. I don't know if cordially is a word, but cordial, and whatnot. But it's one of those things where like, okay, other people have popped up out of the woodworks that used to like, for one of them, for example, used to love to be in calls with the FCK, and I got one call recorded where they're just sitting there running their fucking mouth about me. Um, and I don't hate them, but we're not gonna. No, I'm good.
Yeah,
Because it's one of those things where
yeah,
they knew what was going on and just didn't care.
yeah.
Now, to those
I
that like
think
do
pettiness is fine.
apologize,
Yeah.
want to play Roblox, dress to impress. I do have Roblox. I recently downloaded it again a couple of months ago. So if you want to, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. I will play Roblox with you. Yeah, sure. That I
Can we find a game that I can play as well? Because if I play Roblox, and I cannot stress this enough, because other people are like, "Hey, do you want to play Fortnite? Do you want to play Roblox?" Like, I'm very
You have
happy
Left
to
4 Dead?
game. I could probably get Left 4 Dead, yeah. Because the problem is, if I play Roblox, I will actually like. It's a sort of thing that in like 5 years' time, there will be a story about me somewhere. It's like, well, he played Roblox. That's very sus, and I'd be like, Yeah, I don't blame you for that take. Like we need to find something. We need to find something chill. Um, and I'd be down for a game stream. I want to do more gaming, like members streams and things. I think that's
Well,
what
I
I'm gonna do
used
with
to
membership
do.
streams.
Actually, that's the thing. This goes back into the whole FCK thing, right? I started doing videos on Battlefront, and they were still dunking on. So I did try, and so for the people that complain on the other end of the aisle, because you asked me before about their coping thing, I tried to move on. You all told me to move on, and I tried multiple times, but it reached a point where if I go and do something else, you're still going to keep using, trying to hold that over my head. So like, what was I? It's either I sort of like make empty threats about making the retrospective series while I try and move on, and the same people telling me to move on haven't moved on because I mean every opportunity these people had to repeat the same claims about me they took. The Kai shit. You can go to Harley's fucking comment section. You can go to Optimus's comment section. Same shit being claimed there. So the same people back then, that are coping and saying, well, why didn't he move on? This is 4 years old. Why is he still talking about this? I did try to move on. I tried to do videos on Battlefront 2, on My Heroes One's Justice. You you were still dogging on me for it. And then I still go and try and make other topic videos, and you're still bringing up the same shit from, 2019, 2020.
Yeah. It's one of these as well. Like I'm pretty good at if people make responses to me or like comments about me, I don't really respond because I don't care. But like there have been a couple of people who have uh, over the years managed to actually piss me off. And then I remember, like in one case, the politics people can probably guess who this is, but they kept bringing me up, and I got very, very fucking pissed off with it. And it's quite clear in that video. Like somebody said about it. It's like, well, you were you were emotionally invested. I'm not fucking denying it. I was very
Yeah.
pissed off about that entire thing, and it's a very different. It's a much more soy, much more pissy side of me, and it doesn't come out very often, but it's doable. And like, then there was this thing of like, oh, well, you guys seem chill now. I'm like, well, I'm less angry after I shouted at him. Like, I've got it out of my system now because I didn't get to do it during the initial drama. But like, I'm watching his channel die on a daily basis, and I'd be lying if I said that I don't go and look at his VOD numbers.
Like,
You know.
honestly, that's the thing. It's I enjoy this with like the FCK shit solely for the fact that these same people said, uh, I'd never get past 100. I'd never
HFK.
get even 100 subscribers. I'd never get past that. This and that and all this other stuff. So yeah, I do. It's a petty enjoyment, and they can say that it's revenge. But I said in 2021, 2022, I have tweets that I've retweeted myself to show people I wasn't bullshitting when I said if you guys are gonna keep pushing this, I'm just gonna make a retrospective series. And then now that I've made it, suddenly I'm still the bad guy, even though like the whole prerequisite for me making it was you keep telling me to move on. You won't move on though. And so yes, I am petty. I am petty enough to take some enjoyment out of the fact that the same people trying to hold this shit that I didn't do over my head now have what they literally did over their head. Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy that because they had no problem. They gave zero fucks about the doxing accusation and all the other shit, the sexual harassment accusation, all of that stuff being levied and either held over my head or my friends' heads for years. They had no care in the world. They kept lying. Nezzy especially kept lying about it every time I brought it up. I even at one point I messaged her asking her politely just to be honest about it so I wouldn't have to make another video because people were still bringing it up. So she can complain as much as she wants about, me constantly, nagging her, right? But every time I did that was because one of her fucking audience members was like, "Oh, you did this, 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 and that." So yeah, I do take a petty enjoyment out of the situation. And I'm not gonna lie and fucking deny or hide that. I don't want these people gone or leaving, but I'm not gonna pretend as though I haven't like, enjoyed this. I'm not gonna have a maniacal laugh, but
Oh, I would.
I'm not gonna sweat it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those as well where I think it's Well, it's a
I've
lie,
been
isn't it?
banned from
Like the
servers for trying to talk about this. That's the thing.
well, it's
Like,
also like look, the people who like were involved in this and people who are like some of the still hardcore accountability ACC people will lie. It is a lie when they're like, "Well, I take no pleasure in this. I'm here for the victims."
yeah,
And I'm like, "No, you enjoy this. You enjoy
they're blowing
watching
smoke
people
up
burn."
everyone's ass.
Yeah. And I'm like, and that's actually fine. I just want you to be honest about it. I want you to be clear about
Exactly.
your fucking intentions because I
Gilded
would
said
have
it best. He said that these people just want the morally virtuous aesthetic. And I think that hits the nail right on the fucking head. They want to participate in what everyone else does. They love to watch people burn, but they want to look good while doing it.
Yeah. I mean, Gilded has a new video out on this this girl who got cancelled for racism comments. And when I say cancelled, like I haven't looked in depth in it. I'm probably going to now. But it seems like they've destroyed her entire life over what are essentially edgy jokes. And completely skipped over any issues she had, anything else. And I'm just like, I just don't like these people who sit on a pedestal and are like, you're fair game. And I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
sure you have some fucking skeletons in your closet. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a learning experience if they're dragged up. Maybe you'd be fine with it. I don't fucking know, but maybe we should find out. You know?
Yeah.
I think it's I think it's kind of fucking wild. Another drama I'm looking at is some of this Roblox drama with somebody who is just a fucking
Roblox
spread.
drama.
Roblox drama, I know. Roblox. Have you
That's
heard
the thing.
Have you heard about the oh my god, the Roblox community is insane. Everyone's a pedophile and everyone accuses everyone else of being a pedophile. There are literally conversations with people who are outed like a month later for this shit. Have you heard of someone called Koof?
No.
Okay, so
No,
Koof, Koof is a content creator, 2.1 million subs. I'm gonna do a stream on it, and I've got like some follow-up content coming. But 2.1 million subs. It turns out that he is a content creator. He had a previous channel. He was outed for absolutely being a predator, and two of his friends basically helped him recreate and like regrow into the community and reestablish himself. Knew about this,
sweet Jesus.
knew that other people were working with him, and and then it turns out he's like a previous predator. And there is so much shit in the Roblox community, and there's like an interview he had with somebody called Natalie Forsyth, or something like that, who also has their own drama, and it's just like a never-ending spiral of the Roblox community is insane, actually fucking crazy.
Maybe that's something I'll look into, because some people wanted me to like talk about lolcows, and I'll occasionally maybe do that. But I plan on talking about like occasionally a drama situation. The fact that there's a Roblox drama thing is astounding, but it doesn't shock me.
So much, man, so much. Yeah, I'll have some stuff. I'm trying to do more videos, so I'm trying to look. I've got some stuff in the work, and basically I'm waiting until my AdSense works again, because I the Roblox stuff has done well for me. It was nice to get a video to like I think it's nearly 40k views now, which is pretty cool.
Hey,
it's my it's a shit post, but it's at like 40k, so that was quite nice. And I'd like to do more videos because I've kind of got like a nice setup for it now. Like flow wise, and they're fun, So yeah, I'd like to intermingle that.
I will say though, if I'm allowed to unabashedly plug myself here, after I do the FCK Maxim, I plan on doing a stream, and that's where I'll unwind. Okay, I will celebrate. I'm gonna do my victory lap, and probably read some of the stuff too, and just like because I don't know how to set it up right. You have it where you can do call-in stuff. I don't know if I can do that without my laptop exploding. This thing's a fucking piece of shit. But I want to be able to have people call on and then talk about like their highlights and like what they found really ridiculous or even funny or like
I think
out
that'd be
there
really
and
great. I think that would genuinely be
and
really
then
great.
I'd also like to extend an invitation to even the FCK people if they'd like to come on and chat. I mean, most of them don't, and they want to just go on, which is understandable.
Yeah.
Nezzy, I had Lio ask Nezzy, hey, let's have a chat in Thunderdome, just me and you, no doodles, okay, just the two of us. He didn't hear anything back from that, so I don't think that's ever going to happen. I would, whew, that would be the best Christmas
That
gift
that
ever.
would be
But
that would be incredible.
it would.
Well, look, I'll also extend this.
And I'd love for you to be on there too if you
Oh
like.
God,
You can
yeah.
even do your own stream and then come onto mine and we can chat about it, read some of it. I got all kinds
I'd
of
love to
Discord
do that.
stuff.
I'd love to do that.
Um,
And I'm very. I mean, as you know, as I've been pretty open, I am. I've known you now for a few months. I've been very pleased to see how well you're doing, and I'm a big supporter of you and your work. I'll be honest, it's pretty good. I think you have a lot of potential in the future. So yeah, it'd be nice to come on and chat. And I mean, part of the reason I wanted to do this, aside from like a general catch up, the motivator is we haven't spoken in a while, and I was just like, I haven't spoken to Akumu in a while. It'd be nice.
yeah, I've been trying to watch the Blow Black stuff. I commented the other day. I was like, what? Like,
hmm.
I was listening to your explanation of it.
It's look, the Bow Black stuff is wild. I'm probably going to end up doing a stream on it. I'm probably not going to do any more Twitter verses,
Yeah,
because I've realized that content can do very well, but also there are other people picking up that bag. And while I had fun, like with the idea and fun in the aftermath, I
yeah.
fucking hate making them. Okay, I really cannot stress how much I dislike putting these together. So, yeah, there'll be more stuff like out, and I'll probably do it. I'll probably do a Bow Black stream. I've heard stuff behind the scenes that's not public knowledge yet, and might not become, but if it does, I will absolutely cover it. And some of it is very, very fucking funny. I mean, just take today. Today's amazing. So Turkey Tom did a video on him, and his response was to send Turkey Tom, apparently, like, it should be like, he's like, oh, I'm cool with Turkey Tom, it's fine. And then release an 1.5 hour long compilation of his Twitterverses video on the pyrocynical drama with Turkey Tom. And it's like, this is so needlessly fucking psychotically like petty. And it's just like, why would you do that? Why? It's like, yeah, so that stuff's legitimately very funny. And I do want to talk more about it. It's a good. I've got over feeling mean about it, and now I'm just like, you're an idiot. So let's talk about it, But yeah, I'd love to come on and do like a joined up thing, and I think
I'll get real pretentious.
Be good.
Unpack, maybe drink a little bit, maybe we'll see.
It'll be good.
Um,
Good. Yeah, look, a victory lap stream would be. Victory lap streams are good. I think all of us fucking deserve one. One thing I will say as well is, I know this is kicking off. If she doesn't want to speak to you, I doubt she'd speak to me. But I will also, like, I'm very happy to speak to Ponder and hear her side of things. I'm very happy to speak to Nezzy and hear her side of things. That's the right pronouns for Nezzy, isn't it?
In fact, she could, she can Ponder. I welcome Ponder, any of the FCK people, like on the stream if they want to just chat about it, and also audience members. So anyone that's watching now that watches my stuff, if you guys want to come, as long as you don't say certain things that'll get me banned, yeah, we're good.
So no Vlad.
I have to ask him before he comes on. Listen. I just don't want to be banned. So could you just cool it a little bit, just a little bit on that, and but he's nice enough to do it.
No, he's Vlad's really good. I actually really early on, Vlad was like, I feel really bad. I said this on your stream. I'm like, I don't care, bro. You're good. You're good. He's been doing really well. Are you going to do an update stream on Rakita Lord's case? Yes, I am. I'm probably going to try and talk to God of Law about it, or Simple Law is Law Simplified now. But yeah, I want to talk more about Rakita, because that shit's wild. I haven't even covered the fact that Aaron was arrested. So yeah, I will do that. I also want to re-engage with Gore World. The reason I stopped engaging with Gore World was because the channel got struck, and we weren't set up to fight it, and now I am. So I care less. and not by Girl World. I should be clear, we got struck by somebody else. But yeah, I've got like a couple of things in the pipeline, and I want to do. Yeah, look, I mean, it's nice. It's cool to do streams like this, and you know, we have like a lot of people hang out and chat. But I will say this generally about the Artcom stuff. It's been really cool, and I'm very grateful to you all that you've continued watching me cover non-art things, and you come and hang out, and it's become its own little. Yeah, it's become a little community of people who are like fans of Cope and Seed, which I didn't expect when I started doing this channel. You know, I guess coming up to a year ago, we posted our first video, like next month, and we've been streaming since January, February. So that's been really fucking cool. I've really appreciated it, and it's been
The
nice.
Copecast is very based.
It's gone well. It's nice to be able to expand and do things, and you know, bring out more content for people, because that's I don't know. It's nice to have a place to come and laugh about things. Thoughts on the Power World snafu? Oh fuck! Actually, do you have any thoughts on this? On the Nintendo patent stuff? They've patented Pokeballs. Apparently, that's what they're suing
Wait.
Power World over.
Hold on. Pokeballs have a patent?
Apparently, yeah. It's like it looks like, now don't sue me, Nintendo. It looks a bit like patent trolling. I think is the comment that other people have made. That's other people's comments.
I was sort of expecting Power World to get sued at some point. To be honest with you,
Yeah,
because
so
here's the
was
thing:
I.
Power World is like the Pokemon game that almost everyone wants. Okay, if I used to years ago. Okay, I used to be really into Pokemon years ago. And I always wanted a sort of like 3D Pokemon game where you could, you know, catch them and fight with them. And so Power World sort of appeased to that, and also when people were tired of like all the Pokemon games that were coming out. So it was like a ticking time bomb. And I think even the people at Power World probably knew that.
Yeah.
Because they will shut down people. Pokemon Uranium was a fan-made game made from scratch. Like it wasn't a ROM hack or anything like that. It wasn't reused anything. It was completely fan-made from the ground up. And they shut that shit down immediately. It's technically illegal to share the game around on the internet. So you like Nintendo doesn't play. Nintendo does not play. It was a matter of time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The thing they're going for is basically like mechanics patents, which is an interesting one. It's not. I don't know how they'll do. Big company, but also, I mean, like we've seen big companies lose before. I think it's interesting as well when you see the different approach, because we've got like things like the Bloodborne cart got released, which is obviously using like Bloodborne's aesthetic, the fucking name and everything, and Sony seems to have not done shit about it, which is good actually. But yeah, we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens. I think a lot of people also. It's interesting how Nintendo have waited, because the hype around Power World has very much died. No one really cares anymore, and now
It
they've
was
kind
very
of gone.
petty of them to initiate it now. I guess they were like, you know, we'll let you have your moment. You're fun. And here's why it was. I think I know why they did it. They wanted to wait until they got all the maximum money that they could get from the hype behind Power World, and then we're like, yeah, okay, now that they've racked in all that money, let's go take it.
Yeah, that doesn't
It's
surprise
devious.
me.
If that's what they did, it's devious.
Well, I mean, yeah, that sounds like Nintendo. What do you see on the horizon? Like, is there any particular drama that you've sort of like seen brewing that you're like, oh, that's going to kick off?
It's a good question. I definitely think that this Cine shit is going to get really dragged out. It's going to be a nasty fucking mess.
Yeah.
A mess that I'm most likely going to avoid. I don't want to touch it. I'm already working on this stuff as is, and you know, I don't not my thing. So I think that's going to become a much bigger thing, and it's probably going to be, you know, kind of like how the Toby situation turned into the Peaches and this and this and this and this Luke stuff. It's probably going to happen with that. I think that's what's gonna happen. Even though which sucks because it involves a lot of like obscene negligence, and I feel like it's just gonna be plastered and dragged out. And so be it. Like you can't control that. You can't control the people's decisions, but I don't think that's gonna end very well. And then for anybody involved.
No, it's one of these where um the reason I phoned Kumo is because again I knew nothing. And like Kumo and I have disagreed over things. Like we did this over the database stuff really early. I was like, I
Oh,
don't
that
think.
Thuman's right. So Jar is wanting to go at the ACC too now. And you know what? I honestly can't even blame the guy because, and I'm not gonna say, oh, don't do that, because I mean, I me personally, fuck the ACC. I mean, like I, you all are already aware that why I don't like them, so I don't give two shits. But I'm curious to see where that's gonna go.
Yeah, I saw his video. Now, okay, so here's my take on Jar. Jar seems to have survived a lot, but also here's my legitimate question: if this gets clipped and Jar sees it or whatever, because I know people know him, Jar, why the fuck do you care if anyone called you racist, or why do you care about anything? I mean, like the ACC. Let's be honest, the ACC has been so ripped apart in the last year. There's actually not much to go for anymore.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and like I mean, you've won by proxy, basically. Um, and like again, like I know that other people. God, who the fuck was it who covered the Rosa call and said autistic person responds to the Rosa call was like their video. Um, there's an element to this where because of the way the audiences have divided on the FCK and the ACC stuff. There is a sizable section of the audience where if you make a soy video on it, are just going to be like, well, this is fucking soy and you're missing a load of shit from it. Because the
Yeah.
accountability content just actually isn't doing very well. People are a bit fucking sick of it, understandably.
They're exhausted by it, and I'm honest. I'm happy.
I know,
I'm
it's
genuinely happy that people are exhausted by it because it's been exhausting to deal with. I mean, to have the same people that talk about, well, you're going to be held accountable. Yeah, you're going to be held accountable, Buckaroo. Then completely dodge this, accountability, as they love to call what they do. Um, it's I-
if
I'm
Jar
I'm
wants
tired of
to
seeing it.
go at the ACC, what Jar should do, in my opinion, if you're confident, Jar, embrace the modern era and do it as streams. Don't do your fight like with the people who get into calls with you. Do it as streams because it will be far more entertaining than a load of back and forth videos. Where I mean, I watched his the ACC went for me video. I'm like, yeah, well, it's the ACC, of course I did. You have my sympathies, but also like I struggle to care at this point because I'm like, well, we kind of know that people were involved with shit. I know that also I'm a big believer that people can change as well. Like, I'm obviously friendly with Thuman. I feel like
Yeah.
Thuman has been pretty upfront about the fact that the way she was previously is something that she's like not happy with. She recognizes the faults in it and is not dodging. So why do that other than, you're going to get the same response of, well, yeah, sure. And like we can have criticisms. I just feel like it's Jar is too big of a content creator to be going on a fucking side quest. Do you know what I mean?
Like a Dark Souls kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there was all this time during this year for Jar to get really involved in this.
I think it's one of those things where he wants to avoid getting involved in the heat of the moment because afterwards he'll have all the information that he can, which I understand.
Yeah, sure.
I get it. It's just if he doesn't bring anything sort of new to the table with it, then people aren't going to care so much. If it's, I mean, unless it's like you're trying to compile all the information. Which, I mean, if that's his goal, go for
Yeah,
it.
I'm not against that. And like again, I should be clear that this is my take from what I've seen. I don't have a position on Jar. I'm just kind of like I guess my question is this, and this is my thought on basically everyone who is making FCK stuff like later or made FCK stuff after Lio kind of got cooed and Peaches was gone, and they kind of went like, because I didn't have this criticism for Omnia, for example.
The Eyes of March.
Well, yeah, everyone when he got Eyes of March, are you making this because it's now safe to do it? Which is not my impression from Jar, by the way, I should be clear. But are you doing this because it's now safe to do it because you know which side is winning, or are you doing it because you're taking your time with it? Because those are two different things. If you're just doing it because the bandwagon is fuck Doodles, fuck Peaches, fuck Nezzy, then I'm like, cool, get your bag, but don't pretend you're virtuous. You're just getting a bag, which again, completely valid. Make your fucking money, get your clout, you know, whatever. I don't fucking care. But don't pretend like you always knew
I'm
this
really
was here and it
hoping-
was always coming. It's like, come on.
Because it's one of those things where if he's gonna go at the ACC, okay, but try and not do the thing that a lot of people are tired of with the ACUC, which is like this virtuous, like grandstandy, finger point thing. Go ahead and talk about it, whatever. But if that happens, I think that's just gonna make people not be interested in it. I'm not saying he's gonna do that. I'm just saying that's something he's gonna want to avoid in his thing because people are tired of that.
Yeah.
It's not fun. It's not entertaining. It's not when you watch someone that is
My
completely
gut,
lacking in self-awareness.
my gut reaction as well is that Jar was the moderating force between you and Lio. He was the middleman.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's fine. I actually had less criticisms for Jar than a lot of other people did moderating that. I was like, Jar was a bit soft and could derail a bit, but I'm like, fuck, it's the easiest thing in the world to criticize the moderator. But it's like, but if you've got involved in the drama and it says the middleman, coming out at the end of it with a condemnation is a bit of a weird one. I'd say the same thing about Sarah if she did this now. If she came out and was like, oh, I've picked a side. And I speak to Sarah. I know Sarah's not interested at all in getting re-involved in any of this shit. I know she actually wants to do other things, and is planning to do other things. And that's one of the positions I've always taken with defending Sarah. Because I just think it needs to be... It doesn't need to be anything, but it's like, I'm gonna, people are gonna have those wonders, if you like. That's always gonna be an issue. I was gonna ask, actually, speaking of another person, so Kai.
Mm-hmm.
Kai seems to have disappeared entirely.
I just think he's like, I seen a tweet the other day he made, and he was like, why are we still talking about alt shit? And I was like, okay, I can get that. I get that. I still talk about it because it's still being levied at me, but I get why he wants to move on, and he's bored of it. He's bored of it. He's tired of it. So I'm not gonna knock the guy for just being done with it. I was honestly expecting more from the Lao stuff, but I guess he just doesn't really feel like poking Lao any further. Oh, Mally said something.
Was that
Oh my God.
I will give Jar this. I don't think he
Yeah,
worded his
that's-
point
yeah.
well with the adults talking to minors thing, but I don't think he meant it as badly as people have taken it. Yeah, again, I'm not condemning Jar. I just think it's... Well, I mean, funnily enough, actually, we're talking about Kai saying, well, why are we dragging up stuff? And I'm like, well, you're sort of dragging up... Like, the going after the ACC thing is like, you're kind of dragging up stuff against people who have already been burnt to the ground, which is fine. Like, I love a victory lap. But don't but it is a victory lap. But it's a victory lap that you didn't cause, if that makes sense. Like again, like, get your bag of these people are fucked, they can get the fuck out. Because again, like, I've done this, whereas like I started this with while I and Chris and things were going at certain people, like the impact we've
You're
had
you're fine,
is
Mal. Yeah,
smaller
just read. Yeah.
than you and Kumo, right? Because we
I
pissed
think
people off less.
if it's a victory lap thing that he wants to do, go for it. I mean, I'm working on this big video, and then after that, I'm gonna have a whole stream where I just unwind and I get petty, and I have my victory lap. Because it's over. One, I'm already being accused of that when I'm just trying to be as objective as possible in the situation. So fuck it. And secondly, I have no reason to hide it because
I think it's an earned
why?
victory lap, though. That's the difference. That's what I'm pointing to. Like
Oh,
it's
okay.
like it makes sense for you to have a victory lap. Far more than it makes sense for Jar to make a video having a victory lap over people who have been burnt not by Jar but by you, if that makes sense.
I mean, unless the only thing I could maybe, and I don't know anything about his video that he's working, but I do know. Well, I don't know anything is my point, but maybe he wants to bring something new that he knows about. But then why wait this long? Is my thing. I get being busy, but
Yeah. I mean, this is just my impression. I want to be clear. My position on Jar is very neutral, and I suppose.
lazy's in chat.
Sorry, say that again.
I was saying hi to Lazy.
Ah, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of these where, like, I guess Jar is catching. I guess Jar is catching a long stray because I've seen other people do this, and Jar's just the one that sticks in my mind because of his size and history. Where other people are going to do the same thing, where they're going to go, well, we found out about the FCK, and I'm not a Kumu. I'm not a Kumu or Kumu, so I can talk about it, and you can trust me that these are bad people. And I'm like, we've just been here. Like we've just done this. Please don't bring me more accountability content. I will.
Yeah.
I will Sudoku myself.
I actually had a discussion with this the other day with someone on. Actually, I've had this discussion multiple times with, ironically, Ponder's audience, and it's, well, I don't trust you. I'm not asking you to trust me. I just look at the evidence, look at what I'm providing, look at what they're providing, and then you come to your own conclusion. Instead, you're only looking at the people you like are providing, and then going based off of that and completely cutting me out, even though your whole thing that your whole community loves to say in every situation is, we need some nuance. Let's hear both sides out, guys. And Doodles did the same thing, even though it was consistently me pushing for people to watch Doodles' video ahead of time so I could talk about it. And then you had, people on Lyo's side literally messaging people, telling them not to ever listen to me, demanding that they unfollow me and unfollow FCK Leaks. Like it's a vast sort of separate thing, and people are tired of this fucking accountability content because the same people that go about it don't really care about that. They just enjoy the fire, and it's okay to enjoy the fire, but as you said previously, they don't want to just be open about that. They want to like
Yeah.
puff their chest and make it look like they're more virtuous in it.
Well, somebody just
And
mentioned Mr. Enter, who, yes, I have heard of, and I may
fucking
cover.
enter.
Because Enter's history is fucking insane, by the way. Like, he's another. Funnily enough, Enter is another Doodle Tones. Not with the same weird shit, but like an ancient fucking lolcow.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is fucking wild. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, I'll be honest with you. Shut the
Did you
fuck
see
up.
the Tism report thumbnail?
Did I see
Someone
the
suggested to me in the Tism report thumbnail, there's like this little face thing in it, this weird little prism face, and it's someone like because he did the video on me. People came and told me about it, and they were like, "You should put this in your thumbnail." I was like, "Why? Just do it. Why?" And they're like, "I'll tell you after you do it." And I was like, "Ah, that's really weird," but I was like, "Fuck it, I'll trust him." I put up my thumbnail, and it's like this. It's this photo of himself that he hates. It's like this artwork thing that he's had a long-standing hatred for. Now he hasn't ever reacted to it. Um, I think that for someone who's going to come into the situation and call me a clout chaser, even though, fun fact, everyone, I kept my monetized stuff off. I refused to do it. And then he went ahead
Despite me
and, I
bitching
was
at
like,
you.
yeah.
Because
What?
I was the one who was like, you should be monetized. Go and
Yeah,
monetize
you
your
kept
shit.
telling me to do it. Kumo kept telling me to do it. And I was like,
Jesus
no,
fucking
I'm not
Christ.
going to, because I don't want people to say that I'm trying to milk this situation for views, and that's all that okay, I don't want that. So I kept it off specifically so I could prevent that. I could literally say, well, if you're going to call me that, like I could point to and say, no, I'm not. Literally, I have it turned off. So, and that's not to say that I'm like some righteous individual either. It's just I wanted to avoid that. So the best way to avoid it is not do it. So he goes and calls me, a clout chaser, and it's like I have my shit turned off. But here's the irony to it. The guy, his video is the title of it is about Lio, but the video isn't about Lio. So he used Lio as clickbait. So I find it funny. The clickbait video is calling me the clout chaser, the content.
But yeah, I
farmer.
mean, Enter's fuck. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. The reason Enter never got a video is because, or like a stream on him, was because I started digging into Enter, and I went, okay, firstly, he's been covered to death, and like I didn't like if I'm gonna do something, it's going to be maybe a little bit different. It probably won't be that different. But also, I think he needs more than just responding to you, and he was very much in the consciousness because he'd made that video about you. But
It's not only that, but um, I know why he said it, and I don't know if I'm ever going to talk about that or not, because I know why he said it and who was pushing him to say it. And
come on, you can't do that. You have to. Okay,
I
you have to at least tell me. Tell me privately,
Someone,
because
okay, I'll tell you privately, but I'm like 99% certain why he said it and who was pushing him to say it, because they're upset that I finally made the FCK a conversation.
interesting,
Yeah.
interesting.
And if not, and he said it on his own, so be it. That's his own like stupidity that he's gonna have to deal with. I mean, I'm not like you're gonna clickbait title your video and then call me a clout chaser because you don't like me, and I'm like, really? And then you're shocked that I'm gonna make fun of you for it? Yes, yeah, and so that's exactly why the video is 20 minutes. Okay, fine, call me a clout chaser. Fuck it, I'll make the video 20 minutes and I'll milk you for money. So be it.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I mean, that was the fun thing. I think, a lot of these people who, I mean, I said this about Liar's response, and this is why I did the 5 minutes of I told you so. If you guys make these videos, the only thing you're doing is providing us with content. That's it. That's all you've done, because it's not disputed anything realistically for with maybe the exception of the abuse claims towards Lio, because I mean his belief was, and I haven't seen enough of the other side, but I'm sure this is actually true, that people were prepared to take Peach at their word. So I get that, but everything else, the doodle shit, Zach's video, all you have done is spoken to an audience who is already on your side about things they already believe. Well, we've got to make, frankly, a decent amount of money off of your content, because it was like, what was it? Was it like 13 hours? It was like 13 hours of content in 2 days. Fucking absolute insanity.
oh yeah. The Dism report, your streams, and it was because these things were like playing out in real time, and I had fun making them. I just don't think I'm necessarily good at the live, like the what's it, the like situation just happening. Let's talk about it thing. I don't think I'm good at that, but whatever. I had fun with it, and I was able to like get out video after video after video and keep up with it. And Lyle's whole thing is content farmer, content farmer, content farmer. But like, am I not supposed to talk about it? And why is it such a big deal? Like, you can talk about this and say this, but if I inform people about it, it's a problem.
You're the monster.
I
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
because well, I
mean,
mean, anything and everything I ever do to these in regards to these people will always be twisted. I defend myself, and in fact, the FCK Maxim shows that very well. Every time I defend myself, it gets twisted and turned around. They poke fun at me. it's okay. It's all right. If I poke fun at them, I get blocked. Suddenly harasser. And actually, I was going through. This is slightly off topic, but I was going through like a lot of this stuff because there's one individual, a lot of them from the SCC, mind you. One of them was like hardcore defending Toasty. It was like talking about how I would, my reputation was shit, and because they obsess over reputation, and all this other stuff, and saying that nothing I would say would ever affect Toasty, and on and on and on and on. Their tweets are deleted now. Why delete your
Mate,
tweets? Why
crazy.
delete them? Why delete? Yeah,
You weren't so sure.
especially from the people that said that me deleting mine meant I was trying to hide some shit. Hold on. Is it wrong that I watch your content? To the ACC, yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is a taboo. You're not allowed to do that, Bowser. Not allowed to do that. I'm wagging my finger back and forth. Okay? No, no, no. What did Malik
Yeah,
say?
it's
Is the thing that
go on.
meant is the thing you mentioned. Jar might know that isn't public yet. Is personal drama. I don't know. I could ask him if that's the case, but I don't know what he's planning on talking. I just know that he wants to talk about the ACC.
Yeah. Yeah, it's look, I know a lot of people, and I don't blame anyone for wanting to talk about the ACC. I do as well. And I remember, I won't say who, but I know I'm blue ball again. This is me vague posting, and it's not because I'm trying to be vague. It's not because I'm trying to throw vague
There's a
shade.
comment I'll read after this.
It's because I don't want to. It's because I don't want to drag people's names up when they haven't really been around. But somebody was like, "Well, I don't know who this Cope and Seethe person is, or why they've got all this attention." Because I was kind of like came later into ACC drama generally. But yeah, I know some people were really pissed off at that, and I also know that they purposefully didn't talk about me after that happened. But they did talk about other people who were covering it. So like we get this awareness of like where people sit and how much it annoys them.
Yeah.
Because certain people have grown off this, and like I cover a lot of general content, but I know that if I do something on the ACC, people will come and watch it, and like I could have just turned this channel into an ACC channel. I didn't do that because
and you would if you did, it would do really well because it's like I guess this is fitting since you're British. The London Bridge is falling down, falling down. It's exactly what's going on. It's like it's a mess, and a lot of old shit is either coming into question or is coming out because it was kept quiet and secret for so long. And it's sort of like it's like unwinding.
Yeah. And like again, this is why I like doing the retrospectives. It's why I like jumping into certain things, and we'll continue to do so. But I don't want to become an ACC creator because I don't want to limit myself. It's why earlier I said I'm so grateful people will come and watch me when I talk about things that have nothing to do with this community. Because it's nice. It's nice to know that people like me for my personality, or because I'm ginger and British. It's like one of the two.
Ginger and British, yeah.
It's like
one of those three.
Like, either is fine. Like any of them's good. Like
Danger Double D said, "Is Ponder ever going to apologize or at least make a statement about the FCK and/or Akumu?" Probably not. I mean, hold on. Is Mally still in chat? That's a question Mally can relay, but I'm gonna say probably not. Because it's a mess, and not only that, but also kind of want to avoid more eyes on it, considering it's not exactly the best PR for the Art CC. And also wouldn't want to put eyes on the two videos I made, and majority of our audience aren't watching it, which is fine. Fuck it, they're not going to. But it's there to point to. My opinion, no. Most likely not. I think it's going to be the cope of, well, he's going about this in a very destructive way. So
so if the Cine stuff explodes,
Mhm.
because I think it's fair to say that Kumu's getting a fair amount of shit over this. And while I disagree with like some of like, I want to be really clear on this because it is such a fucking minefield. While I disagree with maybe some of the like language endpoints with Kumu, it's very light. I do see where Kumu is coming from. I don't think he's defending Agruma, but it's clear that the people who want to go after Cine are going to go after everyone.
Mhm.
Do you think that that's going to become a wider civil war thing? Do you think you'd re-engage then?
Like I would engage with it,
Yeah.
or that it's just going to become like a mess. If it becomes a bigger mess, I could possibly talk about it. I would prefer to sort of do my own thing, but I mean, I'm getting people are taking shots at me just for simply being near them.
I saw Mali's comment earlier of like, I purposefully avoided this, and that's becoming harder and harder to do, and that's how I feel. I mean, Chud covered it, and I was like, my exposure to this is fucking Chud logic, who like, you know, I was just like casually going about my work day, put on Chud in the background as I normally do while I'm fucking trying to get something to work. And then I was like, oh, it's fucking ACC shit. And like, you know, Chud was saying, you know, this is crazy. I'm like, yeah, Chud. Well, yeah, it's the ACC. Of course it's fucking crazy. And it's one of those where like, I very much at this point don't want to engage on the Cine stuff. I'll be honest. I don't know what my take can be other than they're a fucking weirdo who clearly has some issues, and some very serious issues, was negligent and irresponsible, and is a massive fuck up. Like, however, like whatever anybody says, even if they're trying to go, well, they don't need to be like put in a fucking gas chamber, they'll release a response that's so bad that you're like, Jesus Christ. But the birdie shit is actually, from what I've seen, so interesting. I like my temptation, I suppose, and that's kind of like eating the apple in Eden, is to talk about Birdie with the kind of proviso of, I don't care about Cine beyond condemning Cine, and I don't really want to do the accountability content, so kind of like, yeah, like, because it seems to me that Birdie was fine knowing about this shit until it became, I want to burn Cine, and the ways they've gone about it are incredibly fucked in from what I've heard. And that is an interesting story, because it's, you know, I like the behind the scenes gay ops. I think that's very entertaining content.
I think it's such a it's a very explosive topic, because a lot of people sort of lash, and they also make assumptions and presumptions about what you're trying to say. And so it's like a thing where you have to sort of tiptoe, and it's one of those things where it's best to talk about after it's said and done.
Yeah.
Um, Now but if you want to talk about it now, you just have to be very, very, because there's a lot of claims thrown both sides. Um, and it's a little hard to source some of the claims, and there's also apparently like multiple fucking documents. So it's a headache, and trying to like smoothly go into it and like, I guess, pull it all together in a concisive, like understand, like something you can understand. Making something you can understand out of it is very difficult. I spent like, what was it, 15, 30 minutes the other day trying to look into something someone was saying on Twitter, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. I think I'm gonna go back to it. I'm gonna go back to editing because I couldn't find it, but people were saying it happened. Other people were saying it didn't. So it's like, I'm just not gonna touch it. Fuck it.
Yeah, it's one of these things that if I cover it, I'm going to probably get I mean, pizza's like, get pizza involved. I'm like, I'll be honest with you, bro. I probably would. I'd probably start fielding this shit out and do something a bit deeper. One thing that's really interesting me about it is the people who are. It's not just Birdie; it's the people surrounding Birdie. That's one thing that's starting to catch my attention as I go through Twitter. It's not so much the docs; it's the community. Like, it's like finding a section of the community that I'm like, oh, you're all very gun-ho. That's interesting. I wonder why. And it could be something where they're just like, oh, we believe victims, and also, we fuck Cineban. I'm like, cool. Or it could be something else where it's a bit closer to the kind of stuff we saw with the FCK and things. And that's
well, even with that, someone just mentioned someone personating Birdie. There's already accounts like trying to personate Cine. So there are people like, because these idiots ran to Kiwi Farms. And this is the thing. These idiots ran to Kiwi Farms, made a mess out of it, so the people on Kiwi Farms are now getting involved and fucking around. And so there's some that are LARPing as either Birdie or Cine. I've seen it myself the other day. This account LARPing as Cine, specifically on Ponder's channel. They were
interesting.
LARPing as Cine. And so, because Cindy had commented on Ponder's videos a couple of times recently too, some recent videos. But then there was an account LARPing as Cindy, and so it's a messy situation, and people are getting involved specifically to make a mess out of it.
That's how did they ran to Kiwi Farms? Why?
Oh, you didn't hear about that? Yeah, they ran to Kiwi Farms.
Yeah, I'm trying
That's
to take
a
this in.
horrible fucking idea.
Fucking look, Kiwi Farms again. I don't think people realize this, but Kiwi Farms has a section of it that's actually very left wing. And that section is very interested in leftist drama. And they're a lot more chilled out on kind of trans issues, stuff like that. But my impression was that whenever like Artcom drama gets brought to Kiwi Farms, because of Doodletone's history and other people's history,
Yeah,
it gets picked up by the branch of Kiwi Farms that is not going to be in any way sympathetic to you. In my opinion, is much funnier. And
yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
And we'll go to fucking war, and we'll like go and do some insanely interesting stuff with it. I mean, how do you? I mean, they seem young, but God, Kiwi Farms gets billed as a boogeyman. It's not even the boogeyman it was, but it gets billed that way. Why the fuck would you run to KF?
I mean, people ran to KF about me, and I have an idea. It's a lot of people run there because they want to get like trolls involved, which is fine. Just fuck it. But yeah, it's a neat thing. Here's one thing though. A lot of people give Kiwi Farms a bad rep when it comes to evidence, but they archive almost all of their shit, if not everything. Like they archive it literally to the website itself in the original source of the screenshot. So, like for example, the Doodletones diaper fetish. I have these screenshotted too. Soda Pop was actually involved. So it actually turns out Soda Pop was around even before this because I went through it and found it. In 2022 or 3, people were coping about the Doodletones diaper stuff, and their whole response was, "Well, you're just believing Kiwi Farms. Kiwi Farms is such a horrible source." They did the same thing with Keffels, but like Kiwi Farms archives their shit. And even if you ignore the stuff on Kiwi Farms, you can still go to Doodle's page and find it on there still.
I mean,
So
the biggest criticism I've had for Kiwi Farms, when it comes to evidencing and stories and stuff, is there are certain threads that are so massive that they contain either misinformation that we know is misinformation now, and people will run with that, and I don't think that's necessarily the forums, or they or they will be cluttered with the information in a way that they don't get all of it because the other side of it never gets an airing on Kiwi Farms, so that you lack nuance in some of it. But to be clear, and this is quite important, Kiwi Farms is not a research resource. It's not even, it's a shit posting lolcow site. I'm not like the criticism of they don't keep good records, they don't have good sort. It is kind of an insane one. I mean, it's kind of like saying well, you can't use Twitter because Twitter doesn't have good sources. I'm like, well, that's down to the fucking user base and what you expect from Twitter. I'm not really sure that's a criticism that's in any way fucking reasonable. It's just a little bit unhinged. But yeah, I don't know. I mean I've I've been a bit more of a defender of the farms generally because I believe that places like that are really essential and
Oh
also,
yeah,
you know, inevitably going to be replaced by something else anyway. So I don't really
yeah.
see.
Like Heffel's whole thing of like trying to get rid of the farms. It's like the whole Hydra. You cut off one head, two more will take its place. You will only egg the issue on more, and you'll give them more to yap about. People have tried to do this before Keffels too.
Oh, gotcha.
It's
Yeah, she's not the first person to try and take it down. And before Kiwi Farms, it was 8chan, and before 8chan, it was 4chan.
Yep.
And before 4chan, it was
Don't
something
forget the original
awful.
Medicare forum.
Yeah, and the original Medica forums, and Encyclopedia Dramatica. These,
Yep.
and even now you've got places like Locale Farms and Docspin, which all contain insane amounts of information. I mean, Locale Farms is really interesting from what I hear because it's largely actually a tea community, so it's very female dominated. That's what I've heard anyway.
No, I saw that the term moid is thrown around on there a lot. So I was like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, again, most people don't know this about ED, but ED started as a tea, as a way to log a particular tea drama, and then grew into something else. Even KF started as like a 4chan, a Chris-chan thing. So it's people get these impressions of these places, but they're not really accurate to the general communities because it's all reputation, and it also you can't. I've said this before. Twitter has a higher kill count than Kiwi Farms does. I'm sure. So it's done a lot more fucking damage to people who were innocent.
Yeah.
Than Kiwi Farms ever can or will. But yeah, okay, well we've been going for 3 hours, which has been lovely.
Yes, it has.
But we should probably wrap up. Do you have any final thoughts? Your final thoughts can be long, by the way. That's fine. I mean, as you know,
Okay.
I didn't want to keep you too long, so I'm very glad that we've got 3 hours. But take your time.
Final thoughts. Okay. I mean, no matter what I do, I've accepted this. It is what it is. No matter what I'm move on to do, people will just say, "Oh well, either either bring up the FCK stuff or bring up the damn shit." It is what it is, and that's fine. I'm not pressed about it. My issue comes from the false accusations, the doxing one predominantly, because that's been held over my head for years. And so I know that no matter what, that's probably still going to be levied at me. Um, and that's fine because again, the precious ponder they're only ever going to listen to. That's okay. It's just, there's certain truths that you have to accept, and that's one of them. But I'm glad that I was able to keep my word on some things, and I'd like to think that like something good came out of it. And people can also see this community, at least more people, not everyone, but more people can see it for what it is. And people, because one thing that's always been claimed is, and probably will still be, is any attempt for me to defend myself, it's met with, well, you just haven't matured, grown. It's one of these: matured, grown, learned, or moved on. And it's always actually from the same people that are still bringing up the old situations, ironically. So and I'll probably still be met with that, afterwards, and even during the FCK Maxim when I upload it. But I mean, it doesn't really matter because, at least to me, it doesn't, because I made the Maxim. I kept my word. I think that it's sort of come full circle. and it'll inevitably continue. Like it'll. I mean, more shit will probably still spawn from even like post me no longer involved. Um, oh dang it! Once the stream ends, what will I try? Okay, but yeah, I think it's one of those things where there will be people that won't hear me out, and there will be people that will, and the ones that don't aren't going to. And post everything, I think, for a community that wanted to really hold this over my head, now they can have this. And it's petty, but at the same time, like it wasn't. I was like very open about the possibility of me making it, and they didn't care. There's videos of them saying like, don't take him seriously. He doesn't mean anything by it. There's comments talking about how like I'm just making empty threats, even though I wasn't really trying to make a threat. I was just stating if like you haven't moved on, you're telling me to. I'm gonna end up revisiting the topic full fledged. That's all it was. That's it. Like, and now I made it, and I someone the other day made this comment, and it was about my statement where I said, what was it? I said to Fuchsia, and Fuchsia like was complaining about it. Hold on, I gotta find it. It was in Fuchsia Butter's thread. It was used against me to say that I was only doing this for fun. FCK, Fuchsia. I said something on my alt account, and someone made this. Okay, so here's what I said. I said I'll make this entire community burn as a hobby. And so someone the other day, like, they said that I did that, and good. I mean, I'm not gonna, say that, I'm not gonna pretend as though like I haven't enjoyed doing that. But at the same time, I think the most important thing with this is people no longer less people have the rose tinted glasses on, because a lot of people have like this really parasocial, like non-reality that they live in with this community, where it's such a closed in. I mean, it's there's a lot of people in this community, but it's so closed in and tight knit, and there's a lot of repetition that it is hard to know what actually like happened, and also um hard to really hear outside of it. But more people have. As someone else put in the chat, you reap what you sow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, listen,
Okay, with Akumu.
I mean, I'll say from a bright side, I think you've made, I mean, you've made some good content out of all this. I think you've made, like, hopefully some good friends as well, and met interesting people. And when this is done, we will find other things to talk about as well and keep things going, because I'm looking forward to seeing what you have next. Very much so. I saw one question. Do you have an estimated date for the new FCK video?
That's a good question. Truth be told, I wanted to get it out.
Do the engineer thing. Say it's going to be out in like 2 months, and then if it's going to be out in a month.
A month or two, probably, because I have to. I'm 2 hours into it. I'm still in 2020. But the good news is, when I talk about 2021, 2, 3, and 4, there's less. And the reason 2020 is so fat in the 2021 is like as big as it is because I wanted to show some stuff from the audience and that community and their like recurring habits. Like, for example, even outside of me, they love to when you talk about them, they think that because they blocked you, they have this sort of control over deciding whether or not you can talk about them or see what they say publicly. And therefore, if you see what they say publicly or continue to talk about them, you're harassing and stalking them. It's a very delusional idea, but many of them have it. Actually, ironically, Heaton did the same thing to Chuli. You can watch Chuli's video. Heaton did the exact same thing to Chuli. You can go watch that video and see it there. But to get to my point, there's a lot. And I wanted to include some additional things that I had recovered to give you a really good look at the so-called against harassment and what they throw that word around like crazy. So I've included some bits and pieces to give you an idea as to like what I at 16 was dealing with from the community that was against harassment and against lies and smear campaigns on minors. So it is what it is. But I'm gonna say about a month or two, and it should be out. It's gonna be lengthy, and then I'll have that stream afterwards, that victory lap stream. I'll unwind and yeah, well, I'll enjoy it, and I'll get really pretentious there. Okay,
That'll be good. Good.
you'll
We'll
get your
drink.
anime
I
speeches.
will also come and drink on stream, and also I'll turn the camera on, so you actually have someone with a camera on your stream. That'll be a nice change for you. Okay, I'll let you go, and I'll wrap up. Thank you, buddy. Much appreciated, and have a good rest of your night.
Thank you for having me on. This is pretty fun. This is a good night.
Always. Talk to you in a bit. Later, bro. Bye. Okay. I have some stuff to do. Also, good evening, Kumo. We were talking about you earlier with the Cine Bear and fucking birdie stuff. Sorry. Kumo's like, I was saying something. Give me a second. Right. Okay. So, and Kumo is in the chat. Right, okay. Right, what are we doing? So, I've got some quick things for you, because Beetle Pins has done artwork, and fucking, look, I can't just weaponize her against everyone else, okay? I have to be fair. I have to be accurate. Is this gonna work? Yeah, okay. So apparently I have been drawn as a witch. Congratulations, Beetle. You're the first person. I prefer this to a maid outfit. Is that gonna... There we go. There we go. You have me as a witch. Are you happy? Happy fucking Halloween, you freaks. More Care Bear art. Yeah, there's always more Care Bear art. Did Kumu get a bear? Kumu needs a bear. I don't know how to feel about this drawing. I don't hate it as much as I should. See, I'm equal opportunities even to myself. There we go. Beckett ref sheet when? Fuck, I don't know how to do a ref sheet. I will talk to Beetle, maybe Beetle or somebody. Maybe Beetle can do a ref sheet for me, and we'll go through it. Because I know people have fun drawing my OC. It's weird to have an OC. But I will say this. One of my favorite things about doing content with the ACC is the amount of art I get. I absolutely love every piece of fan art. That little fucking hooded figure has been around attached to me for a very long time. So it is very cool to get art of him. When I started streaming like whenever the fuck it was, a few years ago, I said I had like a couple of goals. My goals were to talk to certain people, and my goals were to get fan art of me made. Not AI shit, but actual fan art. And both of those have been met because of this community, and I'm very, very grateful for both, because it's pretty fucking cool. I will do more VTuber streams as well. I may try and VTube and game at the same time. Also, exciting news, mostly for me. I have a new monitor coming tomorrow, which is going to be bigger. It's like 32-inch. I'm very excited about this because I've been dealing with like a 22-inch monitor for quite a while because I'm lazy and never update anything. So, big monitor for Beckett, better for gaming, better to see things. Actually, the reason I got it is stream, because I am struggling to have so many windows and nowhere to fucking put them. So yeah, we'll have some more stuff coming up. I want to do this some of this Roblox shit that we're dealing with. I want to look at Steve Shives. To those of you who are in chat, firstly, like and subscribe. As always, I much appreciate all the support, as we know. Or dislike the video and call me a slur. That's also a viable option. Very quickly as well, because I didn't get read out earlier. Chris the Narc celebrates 2 months of membership. When did I start paying this British cigarette? That is a very good question. It's been a while. Also, I'm a member on your channel, so you can't say shit, Chris. I know you're not here. I know you're watching Nick. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. And Grizzly Bear 1996 celebrates 4 months of membership. Thank you very much. Thank you to all members and everything else. Okay, so housekeeping. Membership tiers. We are adding another higher membership tier. If you want to give us more money and support the channel more, we're going to give you the option to do that because we're so nice, and also because apparently we're meant to. I don't know. People keep telling me to. I'm just sort of caving. But to go along with that, I've also had a load of new emotes commissioned. There's like 6 of them. We're gonna have some additional things. There is going to be also, as I say, I'm going to do gaming streams. A few people have said that they want to see gaming streams. They're going to have different thumbnails. They're going to be members only from the start because they are very low effort content, and I don't think you're going to be missing anything. But like, I think that will be fun as an option. And yeah, I think that's good. That gives me like a middle ground where it's like people can then make more of a choice with what they're getting out of membership content as well. As for ACC stuff, it has been so much fun talking about this shit again. First time, like core stuff in a couple of months. We should play Left 4 Dead. Yeah, we'll do. We can do joined up gaming streams as well. I think that would be really fun. And like get Akumu, Thuman, Mali if you're down and want to do something, Enla, that'd be great. We can do stuff like that. And yeah, we can do shit like that. That'll be fun. And because I like, you know, doing stuff. Also, Monster Hunter Rise is coming out in February, and I am going to be playing a lot of that game. So I might as well do it on stream because you're gonna get like fuck all other content out of me. You should play MechWarrior 5. Yeah, I was testing MechWarrior 5 to see how it plays with stream setup. I think it's gonna be good. And also I still haven't listened to the new TED Talks BattleTech. I haven't had a chance. Things have been fucking ridiculous. I would like to have like Laka, Mali, Thuman, you guys on stream as well. I think there's some stuff to discuss like around this as like we start to get to like wrap ups. I will probably, depending on how long Akumu's video is, I will certainly be watching the Raw. If there is Raw of or stuff Thuman wants to give as well, I will go over that and start to provide context to those pieces of information. I am very, very interested in looking more into where Doodles sits. And there are a couple of other people who are starting to catch my eye again, where I'm like, I kind of want to fucking talk about you. So you know, we should look at those as always. Next 2 weeks as well, for those of you who are here or care or watching this on Rewind, going to be a bit sporadic. I'm going to try and keep to my Thursday, Friday streams this week. Thursday's a bit hit and miss. And next week I am away for work. I've got to go to the other side of the country. So I probably won't be around Thursday, and I might be dead. But I'll try and do some stuff. As for the rest of tonight, because you've all been very based, who is live? Who's doing things? Right.
But I'm gonna do it now, and I mean it.
We've got a Nicholas Diorio who is live. I think Diorio raid makes sense. Go over, say hi to Nick. Because he is covering, I think he's covering Willie Mack. Or something. I don't fucking know. I'm sure it will be fun. Because I know that there's been some stuff about Dogpack. Okay, actually, fuck yes. Willie Mack, who I like. Who I like. Mac Willie has been really fucking based. Willie released a video. I haven't seen all of it yet, but I know there's been fallout from that. I still have an interview with Cam Nuggets, and I still have a few pieces of information that I want to gather, and I still want to talk about Dogpack. I don't know when that information from me, or like what I hope to be my final take on the Dogpack shit is going to come out, but it is coming. I am still working on it. I am still invested in talking about it. So please do expect to see that. In the meantime, please go and say hello to Nicholas Diorio, who is, again, lovely. And thank you so much to Akumu for coming on. This has been a wonderful little Tuesday stream. Thank you to Nikki for the thumbnail art. As always, it's much appreciated. And thank you guys for all the support. And you guys do, because it's best. And I will see you